Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
The Mariners offense heating up. Are they turning a corner? Plus, Michael Bumpus is back, you guys. Bump, we're happy to have you.
Hey.
What up, though?
How was your charity golf event?
It was great.
Did you win for charity?
No, we didn't win. You know, people cheating them things. I told you about those scrambles
for
and
charity?
cheating. Yeah, but it was good. The Seahawks
You play
do
an
a great
honest
job.
man's game.
Yeah, I was with a good group.
Yeah.
Big ups to Gabe, to Mike, to Todd, and to Wayne. They work for Boeing in Alaska. So, no, it was good. It was a good little reset.
Did you win at golf? Like in
Did
your
I
group?
win?
Did you get the best score?
Well,
the lowest?
it's
That's
a
the
team.
lowest score.
It's a team. It was a team thing.
Okay.
So it's called a scramble. You take the best shot. So we were like 10 under. I think the winner was like 15 under.
I've heard things about scrambles.
Yeah.
But it's from you complaining about them.
People cheat. I guarantee the person who won probably cheated a little bit.
The Mariners, they're not cheating, but the offense is heating up. Are they turning a corner? You know, Bump, what was really good about this game? They won without a ton of home runs, and they won without Cal Raleigh getting a home run. Now, he did get a couple of hits. Don't get me wrong.
He was still great last night.
Cal Raleigh, still really solid. But they won despite Luis Castillo giving up 4 runs in the fourth. They were tied at 5-all heading into the top of the ninth. And then they did what really good baseball teams do, which is load the bases, put pressure on the pitcher, drive in the go-ahead run with a go-ahead sac fly.
And the right-handers 0-2 on the way to Julio. Swinging a high fly ball deep into right field. This is going to untie it. Wallner going back to the one-he track. He's there. He'll make the catch. Tagging at third. Dylan Moore. He'll score easily. And the Mariners have the lead. 6-5 here in the top of the ninth inning. Julio Rodriguez with a sacrifice fly. Yes, indeed. Unties it.
Now, Bump, in the last several games here, the Mariners have put up 6 runs yesterday, 11, 14, 7, 9, 1, boring, 8. That's a hot offense.
Yeah, offense is moving. And, 31 runs the last 3 games, I want to say. They're getting hot. 8-3 their last 11 games. The strikeout percentage has gone down the last 3 games, around 16%. They're usually around 25%. So the offense has gotten going. And I tweeted out yesterday, I said, Solano probably heard me talking crap about him.
I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm looking at
He
this
definitely
dude.
did.
I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And the toughest part about this whole situation is, what do you believe, right? They're 8-3 their last 11. The offense is hot. They've won despite Castillo struggling a little bit. You got Munoz and Brash looking great out the bullpen. It's just it's hard to completely buy in, but like we're supposed to do, you take them for where they are right now. So, and I love that Julio got into a situation and just play ball. Sack fly, driving and run. Don't try to do anything special. Lift it. Let's get this run in and seal the deal. So they've done a lot of good things so far in this series.
Well, what do you believe? You said you get into you being the general, you get into a place where you go, I'm not sure whether or not to believe the offense. Where are you at?
I'm at a place where I'm starting to think, I'm hoping that management sees this and thinks, you know what, look, there's enough talent here. We should invest and enhance this because they have shown that they can put up runs. Like you mentioned, so many runs scored the last 4 or 5 games. They've shown that the rotation is shaping up. You know, Castillo did struggle a little bit, but I still give Castillo the veteran benefit of the doubt. Like I think, if he does get into a jam later on in the season, he can pick it up and be just fine. But I'm looking at this team, and I'm hoping that the people upstairs are thinking, all right, there's enough here for us to want to invest even more in it. Don't be complacent. Invest more. But, a few more games to go. Still got to see it.
I agree with you. That's a good way to look at it. It's like, I don't know that I'm fully bought in, but I'm very intrigued, and I'm hoping the front office feels the same.
Yeah.
Is kind of what you're thinking. And I agree. I think that's where I'm at, where I go, look, you look at what they were doing with their first game against the Twins, 11 runs, their last game against Chicago with 14, and you go, you're not going to get 10-plus runs on it. It's just not going to happen. However, your pitching is healthier. George Kirby's on the mound today. We're going to see how he looks. His best start were those 14 strikeouts and then had a less than stellar one, but maybe he bounces back. Luis Castillo struggled in the fourth, but look, you get back into it. You have a scoreless inning after, and then of course the offense does enough to keep you in that one. That's how some baseball games are going to have to be won. I'm feeling encouraged. I gauge it by how difficult it is to plan a show. Like if I'm having the hardest time finding things to talk about because the same bad things are happening over and over, I'm like, this team isn't in a good place. If I find it pretty easy to think about, well, this is really promising and this might be interesting, and then you got to think about what they could do with this, that's a good spot for your team to be in. I know that they're still 4.5 back of Houston because unfortunately Houston keeps winning. But A, it could be worse, and B, you still got a wild card spot right now. Think about yourself. Just keep winning.
Yeah, you got to keep winning. You got to finish this this road trip, right? You got to finish this series against Minnesota, and then you got to go to Texas and see what you can do there. But keep showing the fans and management that you're worth investing in.
Yeah.
Right? You're not. Don't look at this run or this production and say this should be good enough to get you over the hump, because we've shown time and time again that is not. But big ups to Cal having himself a great season.
Oh my God.
Big ups to Solano for bouncing back and making me apologize to him. Big ups to Julio for being great in situations the other day. There are indicators there that I hope the management sees and says, let's build off of this. Do not be complacent right now.
We spent 4 hours pretty much yesterday, Curtis and I, talking about Cal Raleigh's MVP campaign. When I tell you that, look, Aaron Judge is an overwhelming favorite, but I keep thinking, oh, it won't happen. You know what I mean? Like Cal's just, and then he hits another home run, and then he does something else, and you go, man, we're seriously here in Seattle talking about someone. It was on SportsCenter last night.
Yeah.
I was watching SportsCenter last night. Scott Van Pelt starts recapping the Twins-Mariners game and then brings Jeff Passan on to ask about Cal Raleigh. I was like, what is this? What alternate universe am I living in when the Mariners, are not leading off SportsCenter, but when the Mariners and a catcher in Seattle, Cal Raleigh, is like a highlight on SportsCenter? This is a very interesting time to be a Seattle fan.
It is, and I think with Aaron, if he just plays anywhere near he's playing right now, he's probably going to get it. But with Cal, you got to take his position into account too, man. He's a catcher, right? He is playing one of the most grueling positions when it comes to baseball. It's a lot on his body. He's doing something we've never seen a catcher do before. It should be taken into consideration, but obviously the shiny, sexy pick is going to be Aaron Judge.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. Together, we want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th annual Women of Inspiration Award are open now until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of her choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at WOISeattle.org before the deadline. Headline rewrites coming your way next.
It's all about finding a way to get her done.
Tagging at third, Dylan Moore. He'll score easily. And the Mariners have the lead. Julio Rodriguez.
After they allowed the other team to come back, they didn't panic, found a way to get it done late.
Today, the M's send George Kirby to the mound, eyeing a 4th straight win. Mariners Twins. First pitch today at 4:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 3:30 on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, I mean, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with XFi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number 4th of July sale. Save over $600 on our King P5 smart bed, our lowest price of the season. Plus, get free home delivery with most smart beds, limited time. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk. A wireless company that actually stands for something.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Our first Mark Challenge victory is Aaron McCoy from McCoy Home Solutions, yet another small business owner that took the First Mark Insurance Challenge. Aaron, why did you make the call to First Mark Insurance?
My company has grown to a space where we need a higher level of coverage. A couple of factors led me to say, boy, I really need to find something new, and First Mark really rang that bell.
First Mark save you and your business money?
Oh, yeah. They have decreased overall expense in a couple categories by up to 30%, coverage in a couple of areas by greater than 50%. They've offered coverage in 2 new categories that I think are pertinent for my business, and they've greatly impacted what that coverage and those margins look like.
Kind of wish you made the call earlier.
I absolutely do. Yeah.
So if you're a small business owner that wants to take the stress of insurance off your plate, do what Aaron McCoy did for McCoy Home Solutions. Make the call to First Mark Insurance. They're your teammate that goes to work for you. FirstMarkInsurance.com.
What's the biggest mistake you can make when selling your home? Settling for less money. That never happens with Orchard. Disappointing offers can wear you down, causing you to settle for thousands less. You don't have to settle when you sell with Orchard. Orchard reinvented the real estate industry by guaranteeing your home sale and helping you sell on the market for top dollar. First, Orchard gives you cash up front so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then once you're all settled in, your Orchard agent helps sell your home on market for top dollar. Here's what one Orchard customer said. I never could have sold without Orchard. I made way more than I expected, and it couldn't have been easier. With Orchard, you never have to settle for less. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Curious how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, the NBA draft gets going tonight with Cooper Flagg, expected to go number 1 overall to the Dallas Mavericks. What's the real headline?
We'll call Luka the false flag here, of course. Part of the topic heading into this one is going to be the controversial trade followed by a very controversial first overall pick for the Mavs. That's the background, but you've also got the rest of the picks that you're looking at, Flagg's future. I don't know how many people bump tonight are going to be just still talking about the Luka trade and the Mavs having the number 1 overall pick, but it'll be part of the conversation to lead off.
Yeah, it's crazy how that worked out for him, right?
Crazy how it worked out.
Biggest trade in NBA the last 5 years, and then you get the number 1 pick, but hey, it is what it is. So big as a Cooper Flagg, he'll be number 1. But you know what? I was doing some research for this segment, and I found that WSU has a kid that might go in the first round. His name is Cedric Howard. Heard nothing about him. He only played in 6 games this past season. He's a small forward, 6'5". But the first round is going to be littered with Duke. Duke has like 3 or 4 guys that are going to go in the first round. Rutgers has a couple guys as well. I'm not as deep into this NBA draft as I've been in the past, but I'll watch the number 1 pick, maybe 1 through 10, see if my kid from WSU gets picked up, and then I'm moving on.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, the Storm held Caitlin Clark to just 6 points last night, but they still lost to the Fever 94-86. What's the real headline?
You do, in fact, have to call in sick today because Seattle wasn't able to keep this Fever down.
I like that one.
Thank
I like
you.
it.
Yesterday, I had a pun about you don't have to call in sick because we're going to beat this Fever, and I unfortunately had to walk it back.
Yeah, sometimes it be like that.
You know?
It's all good.
Yeah.
Clark was 0 for 6 from 3. She's only shooting 29% from 3 this year, but she also takes the second most attempts from 3, around 8 or something like that. There's a girl in front of her around 10 points. So when you're a shooter, you're going to have some off days. It's like when you are a shot blocker, you're going to get dunked on. That's just part of the game. So she'll be fine. They still got the W, but Seattle put up a good fight.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, crowd shots of Oklahoma City's championship parade went viral on Tuesday for their paltry attendance. What's the real headline?
And that includes people who are just walking to Applebee's.
It's depressing.
What's going on here?
Yeah, what's happening? You know, can I say something,
going
though?
on?
So, first of all, I will always take a shot at the Oklahoma City Thunder, at the fact that the Sonics were stolen, always. Even when there are fans that are just like, I'm just here to celebrate. I will give them this. There were an estimated 700,000 people in attendance. The population of Oklahoma City is about 700,000. Like, it's not a ridiculous low number considering the size of the city. I'll still take that shot, though.
Yeah, it looked like just a gathering. It didn't look like a parade. You know, the people were spread out, and I think it was Bleacher Report, and whoever the shot they got it from, the lady was like, it's packed out there. It was not packed, didn't look packed. But you're right. When you look at the numbers of the population,
City.
it sounds good. But we got to take our shots when we can. And I thought there'd be more people, though. But then, you know, you do the numbers like you just did. It all makes sense.
And look, I know that the NFL draws a different crowd, but 1 million people showed up for the Seahawks Super Bowl parade in a city with a population of 750,000. So I'm just saying,
I thought it was weird they didn't have like an outside gathering space for the like ceremony. They held it in the arena. Like usually they put those things in some kind of wide open space. You have a stage, but
you know
it wasn't
who
like that.
Quietly also has smaller parades. Kansas City Chiefs fans, same kind of thing. It's just a smaller metropolitan area where you consider the attention that team has garnered, or in the case of Oklahoma City, like they just won a championship, and then you look at the turnout and you're thinking, what is this? And then you realize, well, it's Oklahoma City or Kansas City, Missouri.
It's the energy too. Like Kansas City, when they win, there's a different type of energy. Like people are really excited. You can kind of feel it. When I was looking at OKC's deal, like people were excited, but it's different. It just felt different.
We haven't had a chance to have you react to this because Game 7 was Sunday, and then you were out Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah.
Do you think if Halliburton hadn't gotten hurt that Indiana has not just a much better shot, but like maybe wins this one? Because they kept it tight for a while.
They could have. Right, when he went down, they kept it close going into halftime, and then third quarter came around, and the better team just prevailed. I don't know, because Halliburton is so up and down. Like sometimes he'll drop 22, 24 points, look great. Then he'll drop a quiet 16. I just don't know, because I don't believe in him completely yet.
Yeah.
I think he is one of the better players in the game. It's unfortunate that he went down with that Achilles deal. Did you see the deal? Tatum, Lillard, and Halliburton all went down there, all way number 0. Like, don't wear that number anymore.
No, it's
I
cursed.
leave that thing alone.
Yeah,
leave it alone.
it's like a haunted house. Do you guys believe in ghosts?
DeMarcus Lawrence's jersey number.
Ooh, he better change it.
And he's like 34. Like,
You got to change it.
Buddy.
Someone get this message to DeMarcus Lawrence. You need to tweet at him. You need to DM him. You need to ask him to change that number and let him know that we've had some major NBA stars to suffer Achilles tears.
You know what? I'm not even going to pay attention to it. It's just that's a basketball thing. Football will be fine.
You don't think it
It's a
crosses
basketball
over?
thing. Nah, it stays there.
I think that curses can cross over to different sports.
You just think that now.
Well,
You've
no.
never even thought about this before.
Yeah, I've never, but like I'm just here. Follow me. Curses are kind of in the same family as ghosts. You know, it's like a paranormal, supernatural, hard to explain kind of thing. Ghosts cannot be held back by walls. They can kind of go wherever they want. They don't follow rules of physics. Curses, heretofore, don't follow the same rules. Why would a curse only exist just in one sport and not, much like a ghost, go wherever it wants?
Well, here's the thing. My grandma on my dad's side, right? The rumor has it that her house was haunted. And we, as kids, we just believed it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that ghost went across the street. We go to my uncle's house across the street, and we felt nothing. So it's like the curse has to stay in the house, and the house is the NBA.
Have you guys ever had a ghostly encounter?
I think I have, yeah.
What happened?
So my aunt died when I was in 6th grade.
I'm sorry.
First day of school, 6th grade. And she was a bigger woman. She was like 6 foot, like 250. She was big. And I used to always put my hand up to hers to see if my hand was going to get it. So like later that week, I hop out the shower. There's a handprint on my mirror. Straight up. I was shook for weeks. Yeah. If my mom's listening, she knows. Shook for
I have
weeks.
chills.
Yeah, it was weird.
That's
Yeah.
Well, that's a very loving ghostly encounter.
Hey, it still scared the heck out of me.
I would scare the heck out of me too. You know what I've been noticing? So here's the thing. My apartment complex is new and no one's lived in my unit yet. So when I moved in, I was like, great, no ghosts. However, tell me why my bedroom light keeps going on and off. I'm not
Like
making that
turning
up.
completely off?
No. I shouldn't say like flickering on and off, but like I'll turn off my light, climb into bed, scroll through my phone while I'm trying to fall asleep, and then the light will turn on.
Really?
Yeah. I'm telling myself it's an electrical thing.
It is.
You know?
It is.
But what if it's a ghost thing?
It's brand new.
I need to keep it moving. The 2025 MLB All-Star Ballot is open. Cal, Julio, JP, and the crew need your help to secure a spot at this year's Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. You can vote up to 5 times per day, every day through this Thursday, June 26th. That's tomorrow at MLB.com/vote. Also, you can now vote directly from the Seattle Sports app. Just click the Vote tab in the lower right corner and vote directly from there. Yahoo Sports. Jordan Shusterman joins us next.
It's all about finding a way to get her done.
Tagging at third, Dylan Moore. He'll score easily. And the Mariners have the lead. Julio Rodriguez.
After they allowed the other team to come back, they didn't panic, found a way to get it done late.
Today, the M send George Kirby to the mound, eyeing a 4th straight win. Mariners, Twins. First pitch today at 4:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 3:30 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with some great news. I'm with Shannon O'Kelly, physical therapist and owner of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Shannon, you guys just increased your community coverage.
That's right, Brock. We like to say we're in your neighborhood. We have you covered here at IRG. We just added 2 fantastic locations. One is in Harbor Square in the Edmonds Bowl, and the other one is in the Mill Creek Town Center, right to the entrance to Mill Creek Town Center. So we'll be able to provide fantastic care to all of us and everybody's neighborhood.
You know I love it. Expert physical and hand therapy right in your neighborhood.
That's right. We're in your neighborhood. We want to be your neighborhood family physical therapist. We'll take care of you, your family, and your neighbor.
And remember, no referral needed. Just personalized care when and where you need it. Visit IRGPT.com and schedule your appointment today. With over 40 convenient locations, IRG is right in your neighborhood. And now, 2 new spots as well. That's IRGPT.com, IRGPT.com.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health. It's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Wow, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men, too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat-freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same, and that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Talking baseball with Yahoo Sports, Jordan Shusterman joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, Jordan, how's it going?
Hey guys, always a pleasure. I'm rocking my
Arkansas Travelers hat after those big promotions this weekend. So excited to see what Laz and Arroyo and all those guys can do.
We will get to that. You know where I have to start, obviously. And I was listening to Baseball Barbiecast, so I already know that you and Jake have talked about this. I've got to start with Cal Raleigh, throwing his name in the AL MVP race. I won't spoil what I think your answer will be, but Aaron Judge remains a heavy favorite. On pace to have the highest single-season OPS since Barry Bonds in 2004. Like, that'll do it. However, how could Cal continue, maybe, just maybe, to close the gap?
Yeah, I mean, he's doing his part. It's hard to ask him to do much more. I think it's really less about, can Cal possibly do any more than this? Because expecting that is just ridiculous. Is Judge going to fall off to a degree to where the overall offensive lines look a little bit closer? We know Cal has a lead in the home run category, which is amazing in and of itself. I'm not sure. I know my co-host Jake said that if Cal does hit more homers than Judge, then he's got a real shot. That might be true. I just think that, again, when you look at Judge's batting average, when you look at just his overall offensive production, he's still so far ahead. So if he has a cool couple weeks where those Barry Bonds-esque, triple slash line starts to come down to more. Yeah, right. Like then we can maybe start to have a conversation. And the other thing is, like, he is still now, not that Cal isn't this for Seattle, and I think where Seattle kind of finishes this season will probably have something to do with it too. But Judge is just still so much of what the Yankees are all about, and maybe he isn't, impacting the game on the other side of the ball the way Cal is. But Judge is still in his own class, but he's right there. And I think, as I said on the podcast, I think Cal is closer at this stage now than Bobby Witt was a year ago. So we'll see how it goes.
How much consideration should be taken that Cal is playing catcher? I mean, it is a tough position to play, and he's putting up these numbers. I'm with you 100%. I think Aaron Judge is going to run away with this thing just because of the numbers he's putting up. But kind of paint the picture for people. How special is it that Cal's doing what he's doing at the catcher spot?
Yeah, I mean, it's really remarkable, and we've talked about this over the past year, but anytime you're getting any amount of production from a catcher is amazing, right? But the fact that it's kept going up. I mean, what Cal was already giving them over the past few years when he was hitting 30 homers over a full season, let alone over a half season, that was already amazing. Now, as I tweeted over the weekend, like, Cal is now kind of graduating from just the catcher fun facts. Now he's having one of the great switch hitting seasons of all time. Forget what position he's playing. But back to your point, it can't be stressed enough. I think another thing that should really kind of hit home about why this is so impressive is look around the league at some of the other catchers who are considered the best in the league. And outside of Will Smith, who is also having a very, very special season, undeniably, there are very few catchers who are this productive multiple years in a row. A guy like William Contreras, who last year was really making a case as maybe the best catcher in baseball, like right alongside Cal Raleigh. And William Contreras is having a good season this year, but it is a clear step back from what he was doing last year. And it just reminds you that it is really hard for catchers to do this every single season, and that's what makes Cal so special.
Why do you think he's doing it? I know that's like $1 million question that has a lot of different answers, but Jordan, the reason I ask is you're right. He's so dramatically outpacing not just every other catcher, with, to your point, Will being the next closest in like Fangraphs WAR or whatever, but I mean, it's one thing for Cal Raleigh to have led all catchers in home runs for 2 consecutive seasons heading into this year. Those totals didn't exceed 34. He's now at 32 before the All-Star break with, by the way, 2.5 weeks left to play. What are you seeing from him? Is it a stance? Is it a torpedo bat? Is it something you've heard about preparation? I mean, what are you seeing?
Yeah, so I think the two things that I've kind of highlighted so far this season, just strictly statistically, is how much better he's gotten right-handed. I mean, that is a thing that really over his first few years of his career, he had real power from that side, but he needed the exact right pitch in the right situation to really execute. Now he's just completely raking right-handed, which, again, I know that's a smaller percentage of his overall plate appearances, but that's part of why he's having one of the great switch hitting seasons of all time, is because of how much production he's racking up from the right side of the plate. And I would honestly love to hear more about any sort of specific adjustments that he's made from that side, because I don't know if that is a real change. But the other thing that I've pointed out is, and this is also an amazing part of his switch hitting, is just how good he is at pulling the ball in the air. That is really the secret sauce as modern hitting goes nowadays. And the fact that he's able to do it from both sides of the plate, there are a lot of switch hitters that are really good at it. Maybe from one side, the other side, it's a little bit more balanced. He can pull and lift the ball, and we know he's got real power. And if you can do that consistently, it doesn't really matter that you're still striking out a lot, because the quality of contact for Cal right now is so unbelievable and so efficient in a fascinating way. That's why you have these unbelievable numbers.
I'm going to read a slash to you, okay? It's 34 at-bats. Averages 471, on base is 500, slugging 765, and OPS is 1265. That's Solano's line in the month of June. And I had to go out and publicly apologize to the man because I've been on his head all year. But he's having himself a great month. I don't expect these numbers to remain the same, but what do you see now in Solano, and do you think he can continue to contribute like this?
So this is a really, really refreshing development for a number of reasons. And I think that for how bad it was looking to start this season, it really felt like, here we go again. The Mariners paid someone right after they were done being good. And this is here, like, we've seen this over and over and over. But I would like to say that part of the reason why I was optimistic about Solano at the time, even though he is the oldest player on this team by like 4 or 5 years, is unlike someone like Tommy La Stella, who had clearly been far past a level of productivity when they signed him, Solano has been good in recent years. Like, he has been very reliably stable and productive. Now, because of his age, you had to consider that it was possible that he could fall off a cliff the way it seemed to be doing in April. But that was a pretty sizable track record in the recent past to think that Donovan Solano can still be a pretty good hitter. Now, did I see him having multi-homer games? Now, everyone had multi-homer games this weekend in Chicago because it was ridiculous. But, you know, like, am I seeing this on a power surge? No, I did not. But am I surprised that Donovan Solano is now having quality at bats and is able to contribute? No, I'm not, because he's been that hitter for a really, really, really long time. And while you still have to worry about the age and wonder if it's going to kind of fade again, it is really nice to see for a guy who really had proven the kind of the opportunity to have another contract even at his age.
The Mariners are pretty hot. They've won, I think, Curtis, you mentioned 8 of 11. The offense, obviously, with the benefit of playing the Cubs, has kind of taken off. That being said, they remain 4.5 back of Houston. Houston still finding ways to win. Tell me what the AL race is looking like to you outside of Detroit. Who's kind of pulling away? And maybe especially the wild card situation, like just in case Seattle can't take the division and Houston maintains that lead, are there weaker wild card, kind of contenders there?
Yeah, so I was just looking at the Fangraphs playoff odds just before we hopped on and seeing, okay, how much of the Mariners kind of rallied. We know they were looking really good early on, and then it certainly fell off, and it was like, oh no. But the reality is in the American League this year, that wild card is going to be wide open for anyone to really come and take it. So even if we grant that the Yankees are going to hold on, and I know they're playing poorly, but the Tigers, let's say those 3 division leaders just hang on. After that, anything really goes. And I will say a Rays team that I felt like I was the only person who thought they were good coming into this season, they are now in the position that I did pick them to finish at the top of this wildcard standings, but they are a flawed team as well, for sure. The Mariners fit in that bucket. We know they're in that second chunk right now. Toronto is a team I'm getting a close look at in Cleveland this week. They have had stretches of playing well, but they also kind of can't get out of their own way. Cleveland's in that bucket as well. Boston, we know, have just been a perpetual drama-filled mess, but still have a lot of talent. And then Texas and Minnesota and some of the teams we expected, like Kansas City, to be more in the mix, have just really struggled to find any amount of momentum. So all of that is to say the opportunity is very much there for Seattle to be a serious contender in this wild card race, at the top of the wild card race, not just battling for those last few spots, but at the same time, like, they're flawed too. And if these other teams start to find their stride a little bit better, it is going to be very, very, very much. I mean, for a neutral observer, it's going to be very fun to watch, but we're still waiting for really any of these teams to kind of prove themselves.
Yeah, and for the Mariners to kind of stay in this mix too, right? You got to have your rotation continue to get healthy and performing. Lately, Castillo, or at least his last start, didn't look the greatest. I put him in the I said earlier, he has the veteran benefit of the doubt with me. I'm like, all right, he's the type of guy that I feel like can climb out of a dark place if he gets there. What are you seeing out of Castillo? There's a lot of people texting in saying, get rid of him. He's done. He's a bum. I don't feel that way. I'm not quite ready to do that. What are your thoughts on Castillo?
Yeah, again, it's so difficult to kind of talk about Castillo because the context of his performance has, especially this season, has changed quite often, right? When he was struggling, when he was one of the only healthy pitchers, it felt really disappointing because it's like, dude, like you're the veteran, you're making a lot of money, you should be kind of this frontline guy. How are you not able to pitch better when the team really needs you? Now, though, you know, it's still frustrating when he has outings like that, but with Kirby back, with Gilbert back, with Wu continuing to pitch great, it's like, okay, well, we're talking about a four-starter. You know, we're not talking about one of the top guys, and he's still giving you innings. He's still able to give you quality starts here and there. So I think it's fair to hold Castillo to a high standard because of his career, because of the money he's making, because of course, what they gave to get him. Like, he should still be expected to be performing better than he has. But it is kind of strange when the rotation has kind of changed around him just because of these injuries, and now you're not as worried about Castillo start because you know you have a Gilbert or a Kirby or a Wu start coming. But that said, you can never get too comfortable. And while I understand the people frustrated and saying, all right, we got to be done with this guy, he's still a pretty good four-starter if that's what he is. If you have more injuries, it's a little bit of a different conversation. I think that hopefully he can kind of get back to some more consistency. But that context is important to remember.
I asked about the offense heating up. Bump asked about Castillo and let it be known that he still has faith in the veterans and this is still a good pitching staff when they're fully healthy. That being said, offense and pitching and bullpen, a need for this team at the deadline. I'm going to ask you a question. It's a little tougher, so I'm admitting that from the get-go. I think I know what your answer would be if we asked you, hey, what are some of the greatest needs? But what if we asked you in one word, what would you want to see the Mariners add at the deadline? And let's assume that they're in a pretty good place, like they're, you know, hovering just above 500, still competitive, and are certainly buying.
Yeah, I think it's probably just third base. I think that's the easiest, simplest answer. With all due respect to what Ben Williamson has done as a rookie, and we should note that, you know, maybe a couple weeks ago you would have said second base too, but Cole Young's seemingly starting to kind of get more comfortable, and I think that is an exciting development. But I think it just has to be third base, either third base or right-handed power. I think those would be the two categories that I would definitely kind of put in there because guys, I can't believe you didn't ask me about Julio. This was a week I was like ready to give you all kinds of Julio stuff for you because I felt like I've been giving you the same answers on Julio recently, and I know I'm like totally pivoting away from the trade deadline, okay. But it's important because the thing about Julio is as it's related to Cal, what is Cal so amazing at is pulling the ball in the air. What Julio has become this season, again, still a good player, still productive, still an awesome defender, a good base runner, all these things. He's pulling the ball in the air less than he ever has. Now, he's cut down on the strikeouts, which I know a lot of people have kind of asked of him, but he's still chasing a lot. So what that means is we're just getting worse contact. At the same time, you just saw it earlier this week. Those swings still exist. It's not like he doesn't have power anymore. The bat speed is still elite. So I'm really interested to see if he can kind of turn that power switch back on because it's not gone. It's just for whatever reason, his approach right now is not producing any amount of power. Sure, he's cut down on some strikeouts, but I'd rather him be striking out 25% of the time if it means his slugging percentage was 50 points higher. And right now, it's just not an impactful right-handed bat. And that's what they're missing. Randy's good. Obviously, Cal's amazing now right-handed, but we know Polanco is not necessarily a threat right-handed. They need more right-handed power. Power in general, I think, is still going to be important for this team moving forward because it can't just be Cal hitting the home runs.
Most experts are saying there's not going to be a lot at the trade deadline, right? So we're not sure what these guys are going to be able to do. Still a lot of time left. We'll see what happens. What has this recent run done for you? If you are ownership with the Mariners, are you looking at this team and you're saying, all right, well, look, we're good enough. Let's just keep this rolling. Or, yeah, we're good. Let's invest a bit more because we believe in this squad.
I've stayed consistent on this. I think they have to stay aggressive. I think while you might say, oh, well, no one's better than Rafael Devers is going to get traded, like that's probably true. At the same time, the one thing you know for sure is going to be available at the deadline, no matter who's buyers, who's sellers, whatever, is relievers. And I think they have to still add. For as awesome as Brash has been since he's come back, for as awesome as Munoz has generally been, this bullpen still needs more help. And maybe there's some internal options that they could turn to in the second half that we aren't necessarily expecting much of. But I still think that that's an area that they should be able to go out and get something for it. And hey, you could say, well, they tried to do that last year and it really didn't work out with Jimmy Garcia. And of course, Santos has been disappointing. Like, there is real risk in trading for relievers. I'm the first person to admit that like paying real prospect or money for relievers is dangerous. But I do think that it's a clear weakness for this team in terms of the depth. And I think that that's important just as it is to kind of add to the offense.
Well, I hope that in the week before we bring you back on, Julio hits 2 bombs and we get to talk about some of the analysis that you have about him. So we'll have you on next Wednesday. Until then, tell folks where they can find more from you.
Yeah, Yahoo Sports is where you can find all my writing, and Baseball Barbacast 3 times a week. We are rolling right now, so be sure to check out the podcast. We're having a good time.
Rate, review, subscribe. He is Jordan Shusterman. Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan.
See you guys.
See ya. Let's get off my lawn.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
First, get off my... Matt was looking at me.
There's not really an intro for you.
I don't know.
You just start it.
Well, typically we don't just throw to it. So
yeah, but what did you want me to do?
I don't know. I just said it.
This is Matt's Get Off My Lawn.
It's
So
time
much
for Get Off My
confusion.
Lawn, where Bump has
So
3
much
things grinding his gears, and he tells us about them. Bump, what's the first
Bump,
thing?
can I take one of them?
Sure.
It's grinding my gears that we don't know how this segment works.
I know how it works. I typically don't throw to it. I'm shutting up. Bump, what's the first
She's
thing?
a creature of habit. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is. All right, anyway. This is Get Off of My Lawn. So let's do it.
I'm 40.
Hey, so every now and then you got to look in the mirror sometimes and be like, you know what? I need to get off of someone's lawn. So this is to me. Okay, this is to me. So I was driving back from Suncadia yesterday. Played in the Seahawks golf tournament, Tumble Creek. If you golfers out there, love Tumble Creek. It's awesome. And you get to Bellevue, traffic starts to build up or whatnot. And I'm in the far lane. I'm contemplating crossing that double line and like skipping the toll flash and kind of illegally getting in that thing. And I'm looking behind me, and I see a car get over. Boom. And I go, cool. He's doing it. There's no cops behind him. I got it. Bam, I get over. As soon as I get over, a motorcycle cop, gets behind me, pulls both of us over. Both you guys pull over. I'm like, dang, man, you set me up. All right, you set me up. So then the guy comes over, and motorcycle cops have a horrible rep, right? Their reputation is that they are just the a-holes of all the cops. They're riding solo. I don't know what it is about them. So the guy pulls me over. He goes, so why'd you cross the line? I was like, I missed the entrance, man. I just wanted to get over and hurry up and get home. And he goes, all right. So then he walks back to his deal. He comes over with a big piece of paper. I'm like, here goes my ticket. I'm gonna get this fat ticket. He comes up to me. He goes, hey, so you're gonna talk about this on your show tomorrow, huh? You're not gonna get a ticket. You're off with a warning. Have a good day. I'm like, let's go. No. So I need to stop doing that. Like, I've done it like 1,000 times and never been caught. But that one time I got caught, and the motorcycle cop, in my mind, I thought he's just gonna be the biggest. You know what? This is gonna be a horrible experience. He was nice. He was laughing. He let me go. So I need to check myself. Stop doing that. Get off my own. Get off that motorcycle cop's lawn. Get off his lawn.
You're gonna give me a shout out. And you're going to respect police officers out here just trying to keep you guys in line.
And he goes, look, I got to give you something because I want people to think you're getting a ticket right now. So he walked over this big old piece of paper. So you know what? To that motorcycle cop, I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to get in trouble with his superiors and whatnot. I appreciate you not giving me a fine there.
Shout out
nice
to that man. Okay, what's next?
Okay.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
This one is for kids out there. So this weekend, like I'm gone. Like I said, I was playing golf or whatnot. And I keep getting these charges on my card. I'm like, what is this? What is this? And I go to my statement, and it says Microsoft. And I'm thinking, Microsoft? What the heck is Microsoft? Xbox. Xbox. I call my son. I go, what are you getting? There's $20 charge here, $20 charge there. Oh, I don't remember. Stop lying to me. What are you getting? He tells me what he's getting. I go, look, man, I'm taking my card off of that file now. You no longer can be trusted. Parents, if you got a kid out there with Xbox or PS5 or whatnot, I know you feel my pain. So this is for all you kids out there who should be at school. Now, it's summertime now, right? These kids are off, so they might be listening. I don't think they are. But kids, stop charging your parents' card, all right? If my son is asking me, I'm going to do it. I'm like, yeah, sure, $20. Go ahead. You can do that. messed up. But he charged me like 3 times, and I'm like, you know what? You're cut off now, dog. Cut off. I'm not going to say which son it was, but you know who it is. Get off my lawn, little bumpus.
I feel like I could guess which one it was based on context clues
Little
from
bumpus.
other Get Off My Lawns.
Goodness gracious.
Wow, man. Kids just, what do they buy? I'm looking at Matt. Like, do you play video games? I don't know. What do people buy for video games?
I'm guessing it was like Fortnite or Madden or something, and they're buying like virtual currency to buy like cosmetic stuff within the game.
Exactly.
Oh.
Back in our day, we had to earn it. We had to beat like 3 levels and get points or whatnot. Now it's just, oh, let me get $20 and create my player, make them better.
See, I only ever played The Sims, so let me tell you, it's just not.
I'm pretty sure that exists in The Sims now.
Well, no, but you used
sure.
to have a cheat code where it would be Motherlode or something else, I can't remember, and you would get unlimited funds, and then you could build your really cool house. And I would build themed houses, and then sometimes I would build a house that was like Gothic themed, and then I would have a family where it's like one of the family dies, and then you set up a cemetery, and then you have like an orphan story.
Goodness gracious.
Wow.
I got real dark with
That
The
was
Sims.
a thing in Sims? People died and you buried them?
Yeah, if you put them in a pool and you took the ladder out, they would die.
And you would do that and watch that person die.
Just for narrative. Just for the for the story that I was setting up for my Sims. This got dark unintentionally. What's next, Bump?
That's crazy.
Man, I'm 40.
They're Sims.
Motorcycle cop, like check into Stacy's history. I'm worried.
Right, go get him.
They're not
Go
real.
get
They're
him.
computer people.
That's interesting. I see little Stacy just sitting there quietly watching that
Killing my
person
Sims.
drown. That's mean. All right, last one I got here. Look, the NBA Finals, it is what it is, okay? I was watching it with a whole bunch of Seahawks guys. No one's cheering. It was like quiet. Everyone's watching that, and you're taking it all in. But there's something that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I'm watching these young athletes win a championship, and they were acting like this is something that happens every single day. Like the celebration wasn't the same. There's videos in the locker room. No one's popping bottles and going crazy or whatnot. Everyone's just kind of walking around. And I go, well, there's 2 ways I can take this. Either they just expected this to happen and they're not overwhelmed with joy or whatnot, or they don't appreciate what it is to win a championship because they're young, because they feel like we're going to be here next year and the year after that. I'm not wishing any ill on none of those guys. Chet is a baller, SGA, Williams, all of those dudes. But I remember watching Kobe and Shaq and Jordan and Tim Duncan when they won championships, right? They worked so hard. It's the joy that they exuded. It was beautiful to watch. I'm watching this, and I wasn't happy that OKC won.
Yeah.
But I'm like, they don't appreciate what just happened right now.
But they should be.
Game 7. You're lucky Halliburton went down, or who knows what would have happened. It's just the joy was not there. Now, they were on stage. You kind of saw it a little bit, but I'm talking about partying afterwards in the locker room. You remember when Philly won the Super Bowl?
Losing it.
When Philly won the Super Bowl this past season, it was a party up in that locker room, man.
Be.
Lights were flashing, cigars everywhere. That was the weakest celebration I've ever seen in my life. Something tells me if the Pacers would have won, they would have been going crazy. But there's something about OKC that rubs me the wrong way. Obviously, they were taken from Seattle, but they didn't appreciate it in that moment. I didn't like that. I'm like, you youngsters, all right? Go watch Kobe and Shaq celebrating. Go watch Jordan celebrating with Pippen. Like, appreciate this, man. I mean, you're going to be good for the next few years, but I wasn't feeling it.
I know people have that saying of act like you've been here before when it comes to celebrating. I am very against that in general in sports. You know what I mean? Like, if you win a playoff series and you haven't won a series in a long time. Like, I remember there were mostly Houston fans saying this about the Mariners when they won that wild card series over the Blue Jays, and it's like, it's a wild card series. Act like you've been there before. But they haven't.
No.
In years and years. Celebrate, man. That was a crazy series.
The lights were on in the locker room.
Come on.
No one had goggles on.
Nope.
Champagne was, I'm like, what are we doing?
They were responsibly popping those bottles.
So many unopened bottles. It was like
it's crazy.
What the heck? Why even do that?
What are y'all doing? Drinking water.
I can't respect
Why are you
that.
drinking water?
I simply cannot. The national voices are catching on to Cal Raleigh's greatness. We'll tell you what everyone's saying next.
The most first-half home runs for a catcher in baseball history.
Congratulations, Cal Raleigh.
Big dumper.
American League Player of the Week. A .417 average.
OPS over 1,600. 5 homers, 12 ribbies.
And one hell of a model American.
Now you have the question of whether or not he's the front runner as AL MVP.
Where you follow along the Big Dumpers, Big Run, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
What is that sound?
Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
When businesses thrive, communities score. That's why Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA Club World Cup here in Seattle. And our more than 95 local business specialists are ready to help your business win. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA Club World Cup 2025. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
John here with Happy Hauler. Furniture and household items you plan to throw away? We work with organizations all over Western Washington to donate used items. Happy Hauler is Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better, live stronger. Start now.
Breaking news for the people of Boomtown. With Xfinity Mobile, the Wi-Fi is booming, at home and on the go.
And an upgrade storm's on the way.
That's right. And with Xfinity Mobile Premium Unlimited, you can upgrade your phone when you want, up to 2 times a year.
Now, once customers catch wind of the guaranteed new device discount, it'll be the biggest upgrade storm in history.
Wow. Let's hear from our weatherman on the scene.
How's it looking out there, Rick?
Well, Bill, the Wi-Fi is still booming.
Now through September 30th, existing Xfinity Internet customers can get an unlimited line included for a year. Plus, ask how to get a free 5G phone. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Unlimited line offer requires Xfinity 300 megabit internet or above. Taxes, fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Reduced speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds vary.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the Sleep Number 4th of July sale. Save over $600 on our King P5 smart bed, our lowest price of the season. Plus, get free home delivery with most smart beds, limited time. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners took Game 2 from the Twins, meaning they'll at the very least split this 4-game series. They did it without a home run from Cal Raleigh. Luis Castillo did surrender 4 runs in the 4th to tie it up at 5, but the M's loaded the bases in the 9th, setting up a Julio sac fly to send Dylan Moore home for that go-ahead run. Final 6-5. Game 3 today at 4:40. George Kirby on the mound.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. They're catching on. They're catching on. I listened to this podcast that no one listening will want to listen to because they recap Bravo shows, so you guys aren't interested. But they always say whenever someone is starting to get fiery or get in an argument, they go, she's starting.
She's starting.
That's how I feel about Cal Raleigh. Woo, he's starting. And it's also how I feel about people starting to catch on to Cal Raleigh. It's not that Ken Rosenthal or Greg Amsinger or Buster Olney or SVP don't know about Cal Raleigh. It's not like Cal is news to these people. However, Bump, I mentioned seeing Cal Raleigh covered on SportsCenter last night. That's new. You watch SportsCenter. I don't know how many times, either of us have gone home, you turn on the TV, and they're talking about the Mariners and primetime on SportsCenter. It's just not something that typically happens. So there is an increased coverage of national voices talking about Cal Raleigh's greatness, and we're going to take a listen to some of it and figure out what we think about it. First, Ken Rosenthal on foul territory.
Depending on how the rest of the season goes, he absolutely can overtake Judge. And if he does, he does. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. But to me, it's not even a question that he is in that conversation. I don't even know why people look at it like that. And I've seen a lot of commentary along these lines. Oh my gosh, can Cal Raleigh challenge it? Yes. Hello. 32 homers, as Scott just said. And he is playing a position where it's tough to win an MVP from because it's tough with the responsibilities that a catcher has. It's also tough, as some people have pointed out, in this era of wins above replacement, where catchers are not necessarily given the credit they deserve. If Cal Raleigh is there at the end, then WAR to me is a less significant thing this year. And it should not be that significant any year. It's a guidepost. It's something you look at and definitely take into consideration, but there are so many variables that go into catching in particular that has to be taken into account.
I like his point about not just what Cal could do to take that title, which is if Cal's hitting 65 bombs, how do you not give him MVP? But also that WAR as the main primary comparison is tough when one of those players is a catcher.
Yeah, it is tough. It's like Cal has to be extraordinary. He's already been extraordinary, but it's tough to feel like even what he's doing now is not going to be enough because it's not fully appreciated, I think, by the common fan. I think it's there's some things that are helping Judge too. Like he plays in a friendly ballpark when it comes to hitting bombs, right? Yeah. Cal plays in one of the toughest, if not the toughest ballpark to hit bombs. That should be taken into consideration. Cal is squatting and standing 100 times during a game. The physical wear on Cal Raleigh's body, to me, should give him the edge. But the sheer just power and look of what Aaron Judge is doing is naturally going to grab the eye of the voters. And then his average is crazy right now. So it's an uphill battle for Cal. I don't think he's going to win this battle. But if he does drop 60 of them things and Judge doesn't, I think that's probably the only way he can get it.
And before anyone texts in to tell us that there are advanced stats that take park factors into account, I think that Bump's point, which is a really good one, is that when you look at the day-to-day work of both players, in particular what happens for a catcher, and then when you look at just the presence that person has, it is really hard to capture that with a stat, Yeah. How do you perfectly capture the fact that Cal can only review his ABs in between innings? How do you capture that with a stat? How do you capture with a stat the influence or cultural impact Aaron Judge has in New York. You know what I mean? Like, these are things that are best left to, as you would say, bar top conversations. Those are the best ones.
Yeah, those are the best ones. You can go back and forth, honestly. You can go back and forth with this, and you can make an argument. And I think that's what makes this so fun to watch. I mean, the most fun I had growing up watching baseball was when Sosa, McGuire, and Griffey were going at it with these home runs. And I remember being, 12, 13 years old, and we're having our little kid debates. I can imagine what it's like for the grown men in the room having those
Sipping
conversations.
like apple juice.
Yeah, with Capri Suns and stuff, talking about Griffey's swing and how McGuire's yoked or whatnot. No, it makes for good conversation. It makes for good sports, right? It's something like this happening with Judge having the season that he's having, and you combine that with the season that Cal is having. These makes for great conversations. And I hope it comes all the way down to the wire that, Judge falls off just a little bit and opens up the door for Cal, and Cal continues to do his thing. So it's good for sports radio. It's good for Sports Center. It's good for that bar talk too.
Another one, Dan Plesac on MLB Network says he'd vote for Raleigh right now.
I'm amazed and stunned, and we talked about it yesterday. I don't have a vote for AL MVP. I'm the biggest Aaron Judge fan probably in this building for what he does. Whoa. But if we had
Aaron
four
Judge
crew
walked
members
right through here.
Four crew members just really scowled. They frowned at you. That's okay. But if I had a vote and I don't, I would vote for Cal Raleigh today for AL MVP.
That's one of the more I've heard a lot of folks say he's making a case. He's starting. He's starting. He's making a case. Fewer people have said, no, I'm won over. I think what he's doing has convinced me and I'd vote for him. Dan's one of those.
That's good. And you need those type of voices to put that out there, right? Because this is what we do. And you and I do it as well, right? When it comes to some baseball topics, we bring experts on and we take their opinion and we value it because they do this every single day. This is what they do. And naturally, it helps us form our opinions on things and what the Mariners should and shouldn't do. So it's important that voices like this are out there, just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Like Cal's in the mix. Get to know this guy. 'Cause what's going to happen is you're going to get more eyes on the Mariners games. Cal's going to get more shine, more endorsement. It grows the brand that is the Mariners, and that is Cal. So we need these voices to continue to speak up.
Okay, I got a couple more. Because we have so many to get through, I think I'm going to play each one, have you react, and if I need to opine, I will. But that way we can get through some of these cuts. Next up, Harold Reynolds on MLB Network says he's more impressed by what Cal is doing behind the dish.
The only reason he's in it, the home runs and all that, great. But he's doing it as a catcher. And I watched the game yesterday, and this is what a catcher has to do. You guide your pitching staff. You put that before you. And I was watching Wu, that runs with you, pitching this game. But watch Cal Raleigh. What's he doing? He looks at the hitter. He's calling the pitches. He calls the game. There is no question who's running these games. Watch Cal Raleigh right here. All right, he's looking at Bader, where you're setting up. Does he change where he's standing? Is he guessing for a breaking pitch? Is he going to move up in the box? Is he changing things? No. Call the pitch. Here's what I want. I love this sequence right here. He misses on a high fastball, fouls it back. All right? But he knows that's the right pitch. He wants to come back with it. So he looks at him, sets it up, calls it again. But watch what he does with his body. I'm going to get a little higher to help this young guy realize I want it up here, okay? I want it higher. Those are the things that the great catchers do.
It's a great breakdown.
I love that. It shows just how much in control Kyle is of the situation. I remember maybe earlier this season, someone texted in and it was like, Cal doesn't call the game. He's looking to the dugout. I'm like, no, he's not. Cal is calling this game.
He's talked about calling
Yeah, he's calling the game. And I would imagine, obviously never been a catcher, but when you're in the zone and you're calling plays, you're finding the rhythm, right? You're taking data from your pitcher, right? What's the movement like on this pitch, right? What's the velocity on this pitch? And you're taking data from the batter, right? You're going through your notes. And Cal says he has meetings with the pitching staff and the rotation and the coaching staff before every game and breakdown. Like, this is calculated, right? He's not just showing up and saying, oh, let's try this pitch. Oh, let's try this pitch. No, he has a bunch of information. He's taking in a whole bunch of data, and he is in control of the game. Another reason why he should be in consideration for MVP. No disrespect to Judge. You stand in that outfield, you catch the ball, you hit your cutoff, okay? You get in the batter's box, you hit bombs. Cal has the most influence on the game than anybody on the field.
there was a fake, it was a parody account, a fake quote from Cal making the rounds it was from a fake Talkin' Baseball X account saying that Cal said, oh, it's easier to hit in the Bronx and whatever. And I think a lot of people thought it was real because it's kind of a fair point. Now, I doubt that Cal Raleigh would ever publicly take a dig at another player like Aaron Judge or whatever. So you should have been able to tell it wasn't real in the first place. But it was a realistic enough point, and kind of the one that Greg Amsinger on MLB Network makes here.
And so many people are lazy about how they look at the MVP. It's like, oh,
look at the OPS.
Judge's OPS and his weighted runs created plus. And stop with all of that. Look, I'll give you, how about this stat? Take this year out of it. Previous 5 years, the ballpark that Cal Raleigh calls home is hard to hit home runs in. Aaron Judge plays in one of the best ballparks to hit home runs in. We're not throwing shade at Aaron Judge. We all love Aaron Judge. He's one of the faces of the game, if not the face of baseball. But Cal Raleigh, who wears a mask because he's a catcher and he squats and he has to wear a cup every single day, that's not easy living, bro. That's not. So I'm sorry. Cal Raleigh is, if he's not the front runner, he is neck and neck right now with Aaron Judge.
I like Greg pointing out park factors.
Yeah.
It's important. It's one thing when you hit like a mile-long home run, right? That goes out in 30 of 30 ballparks. But not everyone will. It will in the Bronx.
And I love that stat when they show, okay, how many ballparks would this have gone out in?
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yes.
And it makes it even that much more impressive when you see that and you see what Cal is doing. I also love that he pointed out, man, that's tough living. You got to wear a cup. Stacey, you've never worn a cup, but let me tell you, it is uncomfortable. And now you're squatting. You got a mask on. I mean, I play football with a helmet on. I had to wear it once a week, right, on the weekends, obviously during practice too. But, even that's annoying. So I can imagine Cal. It's just everything that he does is harder on the body than what anyone else is doing out there. I give the pitcher some love too because throwing a baseball is one of the most unnatural things to do. That's why you get all these injuries. But yeah, keep this up. Keep this this branding up when it comes to Cal. He needs to be respected.
All right. Let's get to some sound from Buster Olney. Curtis, was this from his interview with Brock and Salk this morning?
It was.
All right. So this is fresh sound. Freshly picked sound from Buster Olney. I'm just going to play a couple back-to-back here. First, Buster says, yes, just as Bump did, Cal being a catcher should absolutely matter.
Much in the same way that I think that, Shohei Ohtani got extra consideration because he was a two-way player, because of the importance of, okay, this was his impact as a pitcher, and here his impact is as a hitter. In the same way, not only is Cal, doing what he's doing offensively, putting up these crazy numbers, we're wondering if he's going to finish the year with 55 or 60 home runs, but he also is considered, as you well know, one of the elite defensive catchers in baseball, someone who, is the backbone of what they're doing with their pitching staff. So it absolutely is a factor.
Point after point made by these guys, Bump, with the latest from Buster being – for other MVPs, we've taken context into consideration.
I think it's important. Think about baseball, too, man. There's so much data out there. There's no other sport that you have all these metrics or whatnot. And sometimes I think you get so caught up in the metrics that you don't just sit back and just watch the game and watch what he's doing and take into consideration the position that he plays, the physical toll on that thing. That's why it's important. I want to hear from ex-players. I want to hear what they think. I want to hear from a catcher. I want to hear what their body feels like. Describe to me exactly what it feels like to catch 9 games in a row and put that wear and tear on your body, and then talk about how impressive it is that he's hitting bombs from both sides of the plate as well. It's been impressive to watch, man, and I think that from now on, until this whole thing is done, everyone and their mama should be pubbing Cal because he's probably not going to win it unless he hits 60, 65 bombs and Judge doesn't. He's probably not going to win it, but it's important that he gets that respect.
All right. I have more stuff on Cal, but we only have a minute or so here before we get to 4 down territory. So let's take a bigger picture look at the Mariners. Here's Buster on what he makes of the M's at this point in the season.
I think that they're I do believe that there are just so many teams in the middle, and they're almost to the point of hard. It makes it hard to define them all. Like, what are the Boston Red Sox, who you just saw in Seattle? What are the Toronto Blue Jays? I think the Mariners actually have one of the better chances to break out of that pack. because of their potential ceiling for their pitching once they get that in order, because of the fact that their centerpiece star is having the greatest season that we've ever seen from a catcher in the history of baseball.
Do you agree with Buster that of those teams hovering in those wild card spots, or might they be sellers, might they be buyers, what are they going to be, that the Mariners have one of the better chances to kind of break out?
I think so as of late, yeah. I mean,
it sure feels that way.
Doing out there last 11 games, 8-3, the offensive production out there doing, it feels like they're close. And a couple weeks ago, it felt like they were moving in the opposite direction, but baseball is a streaky sport. You're going to win 3 out of 4. You're going to lose 4 out of 5. You're going to have your ups and downs. But when you show the offensive production that they've shown the last 8 to 11 games, you have to think that they're the ones that are closer to breaking out. 31 runs in the last 3 games. I mean, you don't do that by accident. You don't expect them to do that day in and day out. But when you're able to show some pop like that, yeah, I think that they're one of the ones.
We have a lot of NFL stories to get to that we haven't really yet. Coming up at 11:45, Nick Emmanwori, the Seahawks' second-round pick, remains unsigned for a really fascinating reason, according to Albert Breer. We're going to get to that in about 30 minutes. Before we do, let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, Aaron Rodgers had an interesting quote while on the Pat McAfee show. What was it, and how does it make you feel about the Steelers?
Aaron Rodgers said, "This is probably it. This is my last season." So now look at the Steelers and ask, why'd you wait so long to draft a quarterback then? And then he also says, look, I've been talking to Mike Tomlin every single week. They knew this was going to go down, all right? But now this is it for Aaron Rodgers. Did you just look at the 2025 class and say there's no one really good enough in that class? You did draft Will Howard out of Ohio State late, I think in the 5th round or something like that. But you have multiple opportunities to grab yourself a quarterback with the number, number 19, 20 or something like that. Either way, I'm just looking at the Steelers now, and I'm asking, all right, where do you go from here? This is it. Yeah. This might be it for Mike Tomlin if he doesn't get into the playoffs and win a game or two. And I don't think the Steelers have the team to do that. So it just makes it that much more interesting. Do you want to invest in a 42-year-old quarterback for this 1 year? No, if I were the Steelers and Mike Tomlin, I'm like, look, you got to give me at least 2. Right? 1 to get things going, another year for you to mentor indirectly the rookie that we're going to draft. Because I think the 2026 draft class, when it comes to quarterbacks, is better than this year's draft class. But it just doesn't make sense to me. A 1-year rental on a 40-something-year-old quarterback, it doesn't set up the Steelers for success. Maybe Will Howard develops. Maybe they got the quarterback that they wanted. But you have multiple opportunities to go get a quarterback, and you passed up for 1 year with Aaron Rodgers. So, that has to be a weird feeling with the Steelers because you have a Hall of Famer there, but you only have him for a year, and your team isn't good enough right now to get into the playoffs. I don't think. You're in a tough division. It just puts the Steelers in a place that we've never really been there before. You could have invested in Justin Fields. You could have gone that direction, but you went with the old guy for 1 year. So I just don't understand how they're moving right now.
That's a really good point. It's like if you knew, presumably, that he'd only be there a year, why wouldn't you take a shot? Even if it's not a great class, not even like a second round?
Saying.
Third? When did they take one? When was
it was late. It was like 4th or 5th, I want to say.
Was it Howard?
Will Howard.
Yeah, late.
Yeah.
Second down.
Meanwhile, Cleveland got 2 quarterbacks in that draft.
They stocked up. And then they were like, let's sign Joe Flacco. And let's bring in Kenny Pickett.
Right.
How's Russell Wilson continue to be himself?
I read a quote. He says, the reason why I came to the New York Giants is because of Malik Neighbors. And that is so false. The reason why he came or went to the New York Football Giants is because that was his only option. But Russell Wilson doing what Russell Wilson does and spinning it in a positive way, that he came here to play with Neighbors. No, Russell's at the point of his career where he no longer has the leverage. You have to take whatever's given to you. Beggars can't be choosers at this point. So I read that quote and I just laughed to myself. I said, you know what? Maybe this works for Russell. Him putting himself in this positive lane and kind of manipulating how things really are will allow him to play some good football. I hope he does well over there with the Giants. I don't wish bad on him at all. I think I would love to see him go out playing some decent football. But I had to laugh a little bit. I go, once again, Russell Wilson manipulating was really going down and put in a different light. No, you went to the New York Giants because that was your only option.
When I win this bet and Russell Wilson has a better season than Aaron Rodgers, and you have to pay up with donuts. Did we say donuts or like pizza?
No, whatever.
I can choose?
Yeah.
I think I'm
I'm going to be choosing because I'm winning.
Third down. There are a handful of players drafted in the second round that want guaranteed contracts should their wishes be granted.
Real quick, I'm so proud of myself because you didn't have a comeback for that one. Usually, you're on it. You didn't have
Well,
nothing
you know
for that
what?
one.
I'm shook because Matt was making fun of me for killing my Sims, and so now I'm feeling very vulnerable, and like I'm not quite sure who I am anymore. So I just, you know what else?
What's that?
I think you are going to win. So what case am I going to make for Russell Wilson balling out in the year 2025? There simply isn't one.
No, ball out. All right.
But yeah,
Okay.
you got me on that one where I just, whatever.
Sure.
Who cares? Third down.
All right. What are we doing here? Okay. A handful of players, second round guaranteed contracts. Here's the thing. We know who got this started. Higgins got it started, and then what was the Texans, and then the Browns signed their linebacker for a fully guaranteed contract as well. As a player, yeah, I'm all for it, of course. I want these guys to get paid. As an owner, I'm thinking no, because I don't know how this is going to pan out. I think that guaranteed contracts from the owner's side, all right, they should only come to that second contract, right, where you know you've been proven, we can count on you, you're reliable, you've been productive, let's go ahead and guarantee you some money. Signing bonus guaranteed, you guarantee money up front, but fully guaranteed contracts as a rookie coming in, it gives me those back in the day feelings when quarterbacks were getting $50 million and they haven't done anything in the league. I'm forward for the players. If I'm a player, yes, of course I want that money. But I understand where the owners and GMs would be like, no, why are we doing this? And how they're looking at Cleveland and Houston saying, what are you doing? These guys are in the second round. They haven't proven anything, and you're guaranteeing their contracts. Of course, I'm going to see it from both sides, right? As an older man, a GM, nah, you got to prove it. As a player, go ahead and get your money. We're going to talk about a player that we're connected to who's in that situation as well. So, yeah, it's a weird place to be, and I think that this might catch on. If one or two more teams jump on this wagon, this might be a real thing.
We'll get back to this in 25 minutes. It is very relevant for the Seahawks. Fourth down. Who became one of your favorite Seahawks this past weekend?
Young man Mason Richmond. We spoke to him on our show, I believe.
You did?
Yeah, so
he was really nice.
I played in this golf tournament, and I didn't realize he was in a group in front of me. And I see him jump up on the tee box. Boom, smash a ball. I mean, absolutely.
Of course, that's how he became one of your favorites.
Killed it. I'm like, dang, who is that? He killed that ball. So then the guys, there's vendors on the tee box, and they're talking about how far he hit it. I go, watch this. I'm gonna catch him, right? Boom, I hit it not as far as him. But then I ran up on him and just started talking to him. And didn't realize who he was at first. I knew he played. He's like, you big as heck. Then I introduced, he wanted me to tell you hello because he remembers coming on the show with us.
Aww.
And just the nicest person I've met in a while on the golf course. Was really good with the kids that were there, with the group that was in front of him. It was just fun to see him interact, and he didn't carry himself like a rookie. You know, he seemed like he'd been in the league for a while. So, no, I got a new favorite player on this team right now, Mason Richmond, the young man out of Iowa.
We had so many good interviews this offseason. Mason was our first of all the rookies. And, yeah, he was so professional. And I always think when this is a little thing, but when guys do the work to like find out your names and just act like a normal, like, oh, nice to meet you. It always blows me away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. But man, we talked with, obviously our conversation with Cooper was great. Tyrese Knight, he was like an onion. You had to peel away the layers a little bit, but
Once he got going, he was good.
Yeah, he could. I think he could be a little fiery on the field.
Oh,
like
for sure, I can see
you know
it.
what I mean? I think that maybe him and Ernest are like two opposite sides of the same coin, where like he's a little more introverted and quiet, but they both. I'm excited to see this defense, is what I'm saying.
Sports
We talked to a lot
Illustrated
of
has
defensive guys.
Tyrese Knight as their breakout player too.
I love that.
Yeah.
Good for him. Good for him. The Seahawks are reportedly bringing back a familiar name. We'll tell you who it is next in the timeline.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
The one, the only Tim Kirkchin is with us. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm just as confused as you are about the Mariners, if they're going to get really good or not.
Is it hard to understand where their needs truly are as we approach that trade deadline?
This team is due for a great stretch of great starting pitching. If they can score a few runs, maybe they can really make a playoff berth in the American League.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Dave Wyman here for Harley Exteriors, a local company serving all of Western Washington for 23 years. Olympic Series windows are offered exclusively by Harley Exteriors, manufactured right here in Washington, specifically designed for our Pacific Northwest homes and climate. This is the window you want. It looks absolutely stunning, much better than a traditional vinyl window, and these windows last up to 60 years. They're going to lower your energy bills and provide year-round comfort. They come with a double lifetime, fully transferable warranty, meaning not only are you covered for glass breaking or damaged seals, it's going to help your resale and home value. Very affordable with options like 0 payments and 0 interest up to 12 months for qualified buyers. And this June, buy 3 windows and get 1 free, plus an additional $200 off your entire project. Think Harley Exteriors for windows, doors, and more in the Puget Sound. Call 8-333-HARLEY or go to harleyexteriors.com.
Values have to be within your leadership staff, right? And then that filters down into the rest of your staff.
We are together, we are a team, and without that thought process, you're sunk.
I still revert back to, if I work at a location and I'm willing to have my son work at this location, that should tell you a great deal. I didn't steer my son away, I steered my son to it.
They call it the Lee Johnson Auto Family, and it's not just a name, it's not just some cliche. They foster an environment for us to become a family.
As much as I'd love to think that they trust me, yeah, our family name is trusted, but it's because of those individual interactions with our people that those folks have had over the years. That's where they build their trust with the relationship.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Hold up a sec. If I work today, why should I have to wait 2 weeks to get my money? With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with 0 investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with XFi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
This is The Timeline
With Bump and Stacy.
brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It's The Timeline on Bump and Stacy, reading you the top stories you're going to see and hear about on your own timeline. We have a Seahawks signing, bringing back a familiar name. It's veteran cornerback Shaquille Griffin. This from Jordan Schultz. Griffin had 2 interceptions and 6 pass breakups for the Vikings in 2024. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports the deal is a 1-year deal worth $3 million and can be worth up to $4 million. Bump, you'd earlier predicted that we could see Shaquille Griffin back in a Seahawks uniform. What do you think about the addition?
It's a veteran move, you know. Man, remember when he left? He was getting like $14 million a year.
I remember being very okay with them moving on.
Yeah.
Not because he wasn't a great guy, hard worker, but it was more than I thought they'd ever pay him.
Yeah. Where'd he go? Did he go to Jacksonville? Yeah, Jacksonville. No, this is a veteran move. He's going to compete with Josh Jobe over there at that corner spot. It's not something that moves the needle very much, but it's a trustworthy veteran. And I think moves like this just add some depth. You get some experience in that room, and you provide some competition for Josh Jobe. So it's a good move.
You know, while we're on the topic of the Seahawks defense, because we have other stories to get here completely unrelated to the Seahawks, though our next is about Pete Carroll. We had Eric Williams, Fox Sports NFC West reporter, on with us yesterday, and we asked him who's the best defense in the NFC West entering the season. He said the Rams, really swayed by Verse and that defensive front, which I completely understand. If it's the Rams, how close are the Seahawks? Or do you think it's the Seahawks?
Nah, it's the Rams.
Yeah.
It's the Rams for sure. That defensive line is something special. But I do think that the Seahawks can give them a run for their money this year. You got to come out and perform. But with guys being healthy, with Uchenna coming back, obviously Boye Mafe, Derek Hall, you got Leo in the middle. We'll hopefully we sign our rookie safety and that works out.
We'll
you
see.
got Spoon. No, I think they can give them a run for their money, but it starts with the bigs. I think in the secondary, the Seahawks are right there with the Rams. But in the box with those big boys is where they have the edge.
One more Seahawks story, and then we've got a baseball topic here. Next story in the timeline, Pete Carroll was a guest on Marshawn Lynch and Mike Robb's Get Got podcast this week and shared where things stand between him and former Seahawks safety Earl Thomas all these years later.
We've been through this together, and when we go through this thing togetger, you know, there's a connection that's made that doesn't fall away. It doesn't go apart unless you're talking to Earl or something like that. You know, maybe Earl.
Well, you really threw that in there, huh, Coach? You gonna just throw that in there real quick, like we ain't want teammates with him. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get up off of ET, man.
I love
man,
Earl.
I
still love
man.
Earl. He doesn't love me. You know
but look, man,
I still love Earl. He doesn't love me.
Yeah, Pete Carroll's too old for that. He goes, man, that's water on the bridge.
Yeah.
Man. You know, things happen, and I'm sure he wishes him well. And maybe once Earl gets a bit older, maybe he looks at things differently. But there's two sides to the story, to every story. I appreciate Marshawn sticking up for Earl Thomas like that. But, no, I truly believe that Pete Carroll has nothing but love for Earl. And if he were to see him in public, we'll probably say hello to him.
Yeah.
It's just
You think Earl would say hi back?
No, I don't think he would. I think he'd just give him a blank stare and move on.
Next story, heading to Chicago for this one. A White Sox fan was removed after taunting Diamondback star Ketel Marte about his mother, who passed away in 2017. This is shameful behavior here. Diamondbacks manager Torey Lovullo was asked about the awful situation in his post-game conference.
It was a terrible moment. Fans are nasty, and fans go too far sometimes. And I love my players, and I'm going to protect them.
Your protection starts way before today, though. You guys go so far. It's up. We were talking on the air. I know you're a father figure to him, are you not?
Right, yeah. I've known Ketel for 9 years, and he's had some unbelievably great moments and some hardships as well, and some really, really tough moments in his life. And I know those. And at the end of the day, we're human beings, and we have emotions, and I saw him hurting, and I want to protect him.
Can you tell us what you told him?
Mark.
I love you, and I'm with you, and we're all together, and you're not alone.
Marte was seen in tears on the field. This fan maybe trying to get into his head during an AB, and then they take the field, and it's just a really emotional moment. His mom passed away in a car accident. ESPN's Jesse Rogers reports the 22-year-old White Sox fan has been banned indefinitely from Wright Field.
Yeah, he should never be allowed back. You don't do that. Now, I've been in situations, right? Oregon State fans used to get at me. USC fans did their research. They used to talk about my mom, my grandma, and all that stuff. That's part of the game, right? They're trying to get into your head, but there's a line that you just don't cross, man. I don't care how old you are, if you were drunk or not, whatever the circumstances are, that was a line that you just don't cross, man. And I'm glad they found out who it was. I hope Marte is feeling better today about this situation. It's it's disgusting, man. You don't talk about people like that.
No, and that's like a type of person, too. You know what I mean? Like, there is... fans are going to taunt and boo. And I've said before that, like, I don't think someone's a bad person for booing or jeering, right? That's just part of fandom. I think it's trashy when people throw things. I don't think it's trashy when people catch a home run and throw it back on the field. So some things are okay to be thrown. But I do think that this type of thing is really trashy behavior, and there's a type of person that doesn't get it. Like a deeply immature, I know he's 22 years old, but I don't know, man. Me at 22 would not have been making fun of someone's, dead mother. I think that's crass, abhorrent behavior. And again, this guy, I saw a video of, I don't want to like call it out because it might not have been him, but it was, Torrey is on the field pointing at this guy, directing security to him. He's this dude sitting there wearing like a Bears jersey, which first of all, pet peeve of mine when people wear NFL jerseys.
Accordingly, please.
Dress accordingly, or don't wear a jersey at all. It's just, and then there was a separate report saying like he's really remorseful. Yeah, because you got caught.
Of course you are. Yeah, if you didn't get caught, you'd be doing it again. Listen, in baseball too, I think baseball players get heckled the most because it's such a slow-moving game. There's opportunity. They're in the batter's box. They're outfield. I've been in Edgar's chopping it up with outfielders before, but there's a nature to it that's fun, and baseball players typically get it, right? They'll laugh or look at you every now and then. This is just disgusting, man. This is some evil type of stuff.
Well, like, okay, so the example that you gave of taunting an outfielder when, was it Houston was here?
It was Houston, yeah, when Altuve wasn't out there.
Yeah.
I was like, you're not Altuve, you're Altuve or something. I don't know.
And
I was
that's
just
funny.
messing with him.
Because you're joking about the fact that they had Altuve in the outfield, and you're saying, wait, you're not Jose, who are you?
Yeah.
And the guy laughed. Like the Astros player laughed back, and then it's over. I think this is someone who doesn't have a sense of humor. Like, people without a sense of humor at all should simply not be taunting players because you're just going to cross lines.
Yeah, you don't get it. Everyone has that one friend that does a little too much. He's definitely that one friend.
Yeah,
something good, I guess, to come from this. The Diamondbacks and White Sox play a day game today. On the scoreboard today, the White Sox had a nice little message for Ketel Marte. They said the White Sox community supports Ketel Marte. So
good for them.
That's a good gesture by the White Sox.
Yeah.
Obviously, this fan does not represent them or.
No, he's a loser.
Yeah, he's a lone loser.
And a Bears fan. Actually, that part of it's fine. But a Bears fan who wore his Bears jersey to a White Sox game, which I think is just the second worst thing he did that day. The NCAA says they're nearing a decision on expanding the NCAA tourney field from 68 to 76 teams.
Why?
You don't need more mid.
Why?
Yeah, you don't need more bad teams.
What are we doing?
It's perfect the way it is.
Like, why? We're going to get the what's that university in Kirkland? Northwestern or something like that? We're going to get them in the tournament? Like, what are we doing? It's fine the way it is.
Oh.
They just want to make more money. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, bigger TV deals are out there a bit more. But no, don't mess with the tournament. It is fine. You want to add teams? Let's talk college football playoff again. But no, this is fine.
The men's tourney expanded to 64 teams in 1985. This would obviously be the biggest jump in how that tournament has been compromised since 85. So that's pretty massive. As you could hear, Curtis, bump, not in favor.
I'm sure there's some team in the Horizon Conference who's going to sneak in and just get smacked the first round.
There will not be a Cinderella story to come from this. There will not be a UMBC awesome story to come from this one. Should second-round picks get fully guaranteed deals? That's coming up next.
It's all about finding a way to get her done.
Tagging at third, Dylan Moore. He'll score easily. And the Mariners have the lead. Julio Rodriguez.
After they allowed the other team to come back, they didn't panic, found a way to get it done late.
Today, the M-Send George Kirby to the mound, eyeing a fourth straight win. Mariners, Twins. First pitch today at 4:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 3:30 on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with zero down, zero payments, and zero interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and we've been talking about this. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience because the hotel opens up August 8th. Bookings are open at snocasino.com starting on August 8th. The expanded non-gaming floor, the destination spa, the big new entertainment space and convention center, new restaurants as well. They're combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com for details. Seattle's closest, now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things. Like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed. From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Seahawks training camp, powered by Boeing, is back at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center, July 23rd through August 12th. Take in stunning lakeside views, grab autographs from your favorite players, and let the kids join in on pre-practice football drills and more. Register now at Seahawks.com/training camp.
Shane Graphics reminds parents swimming is a healthy outlet for kids if we remember to put safety first. Make sure your children are visible at all times by a lifeguard or responsible adult. Sign them up for swimming lessons and provide a flotation device for added safety. Always check swimming conditions in advance and remind your kids to never swim alone. Best wishes to all our kids from the entire team at Shane Graphics. Ideas transformed with precision and innovation. Family owned for 65 years. Online at shanegraphics.com.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better, live stronger. Start now.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We are talking about the Seahawks here, but quickly, while we are a little over a month away from MLB's trade deadline, Curtis, you got a little update.
Yeah, White Sox Diamondbacks, we just talked about that game, which has already started, but Luis Robert pinch hit for in the first inning. That's a little interesting. I don't know what that's all about.
Is he being pulled from the game for a trade?
I don't know.
Wait, a new thing we're going to do on this show, he's starting, is to throw to you for MLB trade news updates.
Hug watch.
And they're all going to be just, you guys, I don't know what's happening.
I don't know.
But this happened, and we're going to go, well, what does it mean? You're going to go, I couldn't tell you.
I don't know what it means.
Genuinely
don't have the first
know.
clue.
Okay. Well, thank you for our I don't know update, Curtis. Should Seahawks second-round picks get fully guaranteed deals? Scratch that. Should NFL second-round picks get fully guaranteed deals? Bum talked about it a little in four-down territory. We're going to stick with it now. It does obviously concern Nick Emmanwori, who has not signed his contract. Now, here's the good news. He and Elijah Arroyo, another day 2 pick, still participated in OTAs and mini camps. So it's not like you've got a holdout on your hands right now. However, here's the deal. The Texans gave 34th overall pick Jaden Higgins a fully guaranteed deal. Then it started a little domino effect where 33rd overall pick, one pick before Jaden, Carson Schwezinger, then turns to the Browns and goes, that's funny. I should be getting a fully guaranteed deal as well. Yeah, exactly. That's interesting that the Texans started this. You should give me a fully guaranteed deal too. And the Browns flinched. Or maybe I shouldn't say that. I sound very like with the man when I say that. The Browns gave him a fully guaranteed deal. Now you got 35th overall pick, Nick Emmanwori. Probably looking at Seattle. And according to Albert Breer, also wondering if he can get the same. This is what Breer says. He says Seahawks safety Nick Emmanwori and his agent want a fully guaranteed deal. Since Cleveland gave one out, I'd imagine the Browns pick at number 36. Running back Quinshon Judkins wants one too, and so on and so forth. Bump, are we going to see a domino effect of fully guaranteed deals for second rounders? And then I have another question for you later.
I think you could, but from what we know of John Schneider and how they operate, it's going to be tough to get him to move in that direction. But of course, if you see guys being picked around where you or picked getting fully guaranteed contracts, you want some of that too. You're supposed to go after that. You don't just sit back and watch these guys get heck of a deals and say, no, I'm good. You got to put that on the table. But I think it's going to be hard for them to get John Schneider to budge. But maybe this just becomes the norm. Who knows? I'm for it when it comes to players because the NFL stands for not for long. They will kick you out this league fairly quickly if you're not producing. And I think it's important for you to try to capitalize when you can. Like that's why I'm not opposed to guys holding out. If they want contract extensions, they want guaranteed money. I get it. The thing that's kind of different with this one is just that you don't know what this kid is going to do.
Right.
He's not asking for more money. He's just asking for his contract to be fully guaranteed. And it's hard to do in football because it's not a matter of when or if. It's a matter of when you're going to get hurt in this league. You are going to miss games. It happens to everybody. Just how many games are you going to miss? I think he should go after it, but I also think that it's going to be tough for John to budge.
Yeah, it's like I completely understand why, as a player, you want to. And look, the nature of the NFL is that, and I mentioned this in the sports pit, there are very few jobs. If I break my ankle at work and then need to miss a couple of days at work, I'm not getting fired and I'm not losing my job. Job security in the NFL is no joke. On the one hand, the nature of your job is that you're able to physically perform. So, of course, getting hurt can cost you some playing time and potentially job stability. But there's a weird unfairness with that just as people, we're trained to think is kind of wrong. So you can easily empathize with players wanting to make sure that they get paid and like get set up for security. That being said, Bump, if I was in an NFL front office, you better believe that I'd be thinking of every misstep in the second round and third round that I'd taken and wondering, where does this stop? Am I going to get a fourth rounder coming in here going, I get a fully guaranteed deal too? And I'm going to go, are you kidding me? You're like my third tight end.
I want one too.
Yeah, exactly. That's me and my sister. The second my sister got something, I would show up and go, I want one as well. That's like, I would start wondering if I'm playing the part of a GM here, I'm going to start wondering, like, where does this end? Do we get to, okay, so Nick is pick 35. Then we go to 36. Does it end with 38? Does it end with pick 50? Does it go into, like, when does it stop? How much longer can you use that argument?
I think it stops when you know that this player isn't going to be a huge contributor his rookie year. We think Nick Emmanwori is going to be a huge contributor his rookie year. We've seen him play the safety spot, walk down at that outside backer kind of like that nickel. Like, he's a versatile type of player. We know that he's going to be on the football field. If you're a fourth, fifth, sixth rounder, ain't nothing guaranteed. Guaranteed he will play. There's like him and Gray are the two are going to be on the football field and get opportunities. So I think that's where he has his leverage.
Yeah.
But no, if I had to put like a number, where does it stop? Like mid-second round. I think that's kind of where things start to blend in a bit, and you get some of the same players that you'll get in the third and the fourth round. But you're supposed to do this, man, because there's things that go on in the NFL. I was reading this article about the collusion with the quarterback pay or whatnot, and how I forgot what owners. It was a Chargers owner and the Arizona Cardinals owner were communicating back and forth, and one thanked the other for not breaking the bank when it comes to the QB's position, because it sets the precedent for everything else. The owners do it on their own, right? The collusion, it happens all the time. So when I see players doing the same thing, I just stand back and say, all right, do your thing, because the owners are going to always make sure that they have each other's backs. So why not take advantage of the situation? Yeah, two owners who decided to get these guaranteed contracts to these players who have done nothing. You go ahead and you ask for yours as well. But yeah, mid-second round, I think that's where this guarantee money stops.
Do you think the Seahawks, who do not typically ever guarantee money beyond the first year of a contract, with few exceptions, I'm talking like Russell Wilson, Bobby Wagner, do you think that they'll actually do this?
I think they will consider it. And I think that there's been a change here in Seattle anyway, right? Mike McDonald obviously is the new head coach here. John Schneider is running this thing by himself with Pete being gone. Like, how much change can really happen here? I don't expect John to do it, but I also can see him consulting in Mike McDonald and saying, all right, well, this is just going to be the new way of the NFL, and we really want to keep this player happy because he's going to contribute. I don't think they're going to do it, but if John does do this, it shows that he's willing to try new things and to switch it up a bit, which I'm fine with. I mean, you do the same thing all the time, you get the same type of results, but this dude's going to be on the football field.
A listener texted in and said, is Gray Zabel's deal fully guaranteed? If it isn't, then that kind of ends the argument right there. It is fully guaranteed. Granted, he's a first-round pick, so there is a precedent already established there, but his is a fully guaranteed 4-year, $18.4 million deal. So
first rounder.
Yeah, exactly. And if you are Jaden or Carson or now Nick, you're going, I was 3 picks away. I mean, how different should I be treated for being picked 3 picks later,
and
4
all 3
picks
of those
later?
are going to play. Higgins is going to play. Cody's going to play. So
Will
that's
Nick play?
Nick's going to play. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I was trying to make it spicy. Really fascinating thing happening. And again, I do want to wrap this up by saying that Nick and Elijah, also a day 2 pick, both actually practiced. Like, they were on the field practicing. They were not holding out. So even though there's this report from Albert Breer, well-sourced, saying that there is a little bit of a standoff where Nick Emmanwori wants a fully guaranteed deal, he's not holding out.
No,
so just
he's
something
out
to
there.
kind of keep an eye on. The 2025 MLB All-Star Ballot is open, and Cal, Julio, JP, and the crew need your help to secure a spot at this year's Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. You can vote up to 5 times per day, and you should every day through tomorrow, Thursday, June 26th at MLB.com/vote. Also, if you have the Seattle Sports app, you can vote directly in the app. So if you already have it open, you just click the vote tab in the lower right-hand corner. 33rd team Sam Monson joining us next.
It's all about finding a way to get her done.
Tagging at third, Dylan Moore. He'll score easily. And the Mariners have the lead. Julio Rodriguez.
After they allowed the other team to come back, they didn't panic, found a way to get it done late.
Today, the M sent George Kirby to the mound, eyeing a 4th straight win. Mariners, Twins. First pitch today at 4:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 3:30 on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Whether you're celebrating a graduation or gathering with family and friends, a Mariners Suite is the perfect place to host your crew this summer. Enjoy first-class catering, VIP parking in the Mariners Garage, and exclusive entry via the suite-level Sky Bridge. Plus, take in the game in comfort with padded outdoor seating and an indoor climate-controlled lounge. Suites are available for groups of 14 to 400, starting at $150 per person. Book your suite at mariners.com/suite. And make your next Mariners game unforgettable.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
What's the biggest mistake you can make when selling your home? Settling for less money. That never happens with Orchard. Disappointing offers can wear you down, causing you to settle for thousands less. You don't have to settle when you sell with Orchard. Orchard reinvented the real estate industry by guaranteeing your home sale and helping you sell on the market for top dollar. First, Orchard gives you cash up front so you can buy and move into your new home first. On your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then once you're all settled in, your Orchard agent helps sell your home on market for top dollar. Here's what one Orchard customer said. I never could have sold without Orchard. I made way more than I expected, and it couldn't have been easier. With Orchard, you never have to settle for less. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Curious how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
Breaking news for the people of Boomtown. With Xfinity Mobile, the Wi-Fi is booming, at home and on the go.
And an upgrade storm's on the way.
That's right. And with Xfinity Mobile Premium Unlimited, you can upgrade your phone when you want, up to 2 times a year.
Now, once customers catch wind of the guaranteed new device discount, it'll be the biggest upgrade storm in history.
Wow. Let's hear from our weatherman on the scene.
How's it looking out there, Rick?
Well, Bill, the Wi-Fi is still booming!
Now through September 30th, existing Xfinity Internet customers can get an unlimited line included for a year. Plus, ask how to get a free 5G phone. Learn more at XfinityMobile.com. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Unlimited line offer requires Xfinity 300 megabit internet or above. Taxes, fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Reduced speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds vary.
Get in the
zone, AutoZone. Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners took Game 2 from the Twins, meaning they'll at the very least split this 4-game series. And they did it without a home run from Cal Raleigh. Luis Castillo did surrender 4 runs in the 4th to tie it up at 5, but the M's loaded the bases in the 9th, setting up a Julio Rodriguez sac fly to send Dylan Moore home for a go-ahead run. Final 6-5 Mariners. Game 3 today at 4:40 p.m.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Talking Seahawks with the 33rd team, Sam Monson on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, Sam, how's it going?
Going good. How about you guys?
Good. I'm actually going to start. I know that the big story were a lot of the changes on offense for Seattle, but I'm going to start with the defense, Sam, because we spoke with a friend of the show, Eric Williams, yesterday and asked him who the best defense entering training camp in the NFC West is, and he said, I think it's the Rams. I like what Seattle did, but I got to go with L.A. I'm just going to ask you the same question. I figure we're going to kind of take a temperature check of the way reporters feel about this team. Who do you think has the best defense in the NFC West entering the latter part of the offseason?
Yeah, I think it probably is the Rams, but that's kind of assuming they build on where they were coming out of last season, where that young group up front in particular was dominant down the stretch. They were dominant into the playoffs, and they looked absolutely phenomenal. If that group continues to grow, Jared Verse and Braden Fisk and Byron Young, and, even now with the additions of guys they've drafted this year, it definitely probably should be. But I think Seattle's defense will be good. I think Arizona has done a lot of really good work in their defense as well, particularly up front, upgrading their defensive line where they were really just undermanned a year ago. I think the Cardinals could be a very good defense as well. I think both those two teams are very well coached. And then it feels like the 49ers will kind of be bringing up the rear of that 4, and they just don't have as much talent as they used to.
Hey, Sam, we were talking about Nick Emmanwori over here. He wants a guaranteed contract. He's a second-round pick. Do you feel like this is something that can catch on in the league? Obviously, we have 2 other players or second-round picks who got guaranteed contracts. Do you think this is going to stick?
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing is now there's precedent. It's the thin end of the wedge, and every single agent from that point on is going to be trying to fight for that and trying to make it a bigger thing. So the fact that it has happened and it's been a thing for at least a couple of contracts so far is going to open the door for that kind of approach. And every NFL team is going to try to fight back against it and, try and avoid it happening. But, yeah, I feel like it's now that it's happened at least a couple of times, we're going to see it more and more.
Do you think there's kind of, in your mind, a place where it stops, right? Like Nick Emmanwori has a great case to make as the 35th overall pick, considering that the 2 picks in front of him just got it. But what about like pick 45 or 50?
Yeah, I mean, that's the tough situation with this kind of stuff is that at some point, the sequence either has to end or you just have to open it up for everybody. I think there's an argument to be made that, rookie contracts should be fully guaranteed in the first place. I mean, you're sort of giving these guys money based off effectively the projection and what you think they're going to be going forward. And it's the only time they're going to have that guaranteed contract. And it's kind of built off it's almost a reward for their college career, more than it is in the NFL, where you're fighting for the next contract along. But yeah, it's tough to find the spot where you would draw the line and say, we're confident enough that these players are going to become good NFL players to give them a fully guaranteed contract, but this next guy, is more of a question mark, so we don't want to risk the money for him.
You got McDonald obviously coming into his second year as the head coach, and we've been out there watching him, and it feels like he's coming into his own, right? He's in charge. He's the leader over there, and you combine his scheme with this defensive personnel. Griffin just signed a 1-year, $3 million deal with this team as well, so he's probably going to be that other corner. What do you think is the most unique thing about this defense, whether it be personnel, scheme? Just when you look at the Seahawks defense, what stands out to you the most?
Yeah, I mean, I think they are versatile. This is a defense that likes to move people around, that likes to play multiple defensive fronts, that likes to make things easy for the personnel to do that and to be able to show a lot of different looks with effectively the same personnel and a lot of different outcomes from those looks in terms of pressure packages or dropping out from that pressure look, and just generally make things difficult for an opposing offense to diagnose and to play against it without overloading it on and making it complicated for the defenders to do that. Some defenses like to, have that complexity, but it's very complex for the defenders playing it as well. And that kind of limits the effectiveness sometimes, or limits the number of players that can excel within that defensive front. I think Mike McDonald is very good at creating a defensive system that looks extremely complicated from the offensive point of view, but isn't that much of a workload for the defenders mentally to play at that kind of level. It's simplified for them to be able to make it look complex.
Transitioning to the offense, you've got a new quarterback for this team, obviously. One of the bigger stories of the offseason for Seattle. You trade Geno Smith and you sign Sam Darnold. The big question about Sam Darnold is just going to be whether or not he can repeat his success from last season in a breakout year with Minnesota. What's your optimism level that he can here in Seattle?
Yeah, I mean, I think the range of outcomes for him is much broader than that, though. It's not just can he repeat what he did a year ago. It's where within this what we saw a year ago is he going to land, because 14, 15 games last season, Sam Darnold was, Pro Bowl, borderline all-pro level play, genuinely fantastic, completely different player from anything we'd seen in his NFL career thus far. And then the final 2 weeks was a complete and total disintegration, and it was all the way back to, Sam Darnold seeing ghosts against a Bill Belichick defense, Sam Darnold. So, we could see anything next year. We could see him back up the kind of Pro Bowl, all-pro level Darnold. We could see him go completely in the tank again and be back to being the New York Jets, top pick that was ultimately cast aside and became a journeyman, or really anything in the middle, inconsistent play week to week, or just a sort of middle ground where he's good but not great. I think the season he had last year, and in particular the ending of it, it just makes everything about him confusing now. And I think it was for the Vikings. We sort of talked to people in that organization, and they were saying, if the final 2 weeks hadn't happened, or if we were having our conversations about what to do with Darnold before those 2 weeks, the outcome might have been completely different. We might have been saying we've got to give him a big money contract and keep him in the building. And, J.J. McCarthy is going to have to take a number and wait now. But then those final 2 weeks changed everything.
The Hawks drafted Jalen Milroe, obviously, and I feel like they're going to take their time with this young man. What was your view on him coming out of college, and how soon do you think he may be ready to be a guy here in the league?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a phenomenal athlete. His rushing ability is pretty spectacular. He's a physical specimen. He's got decent size. He's got a good arm. So all the physical tools are there for him to be a good player. But the inconsistency as a passer is pretty wild. And it can be inconsistency in terms of decision making. It can be inconsistency in terms of accuracy. it's the sort of the whole package as a passing quarterback right now. It's just wildly inconsistent. So what will be interesting is, guys that have that rushing ability, and Justin Fields is a good example of this right now, but other quarterbacks as well, you can kind of prop them up with that and at least buy them time to learn on the job, because it's hard for these guys. It's hard to get them off the field, because on a 3rd and 6, that guy can drop back, turn it into a scramble, and immediately extend the drive, and it's a first down. And it didn't matter that he wasn't able to find the answer passing the ball. He was able to find the answer to move the chains with his athleticism. So on the one hand, you could say, look, there's a path to the field for Jalen Milroe quickly, because that rushing ability gives you quite a high floor. Or you can say, look, he's a long way away from a passing standpoint. We can develop him from the bench. Maybe you can install some kind of, offensive package of plays where he can use that athleticism, or maybe we just work him from the bench entirely and give him that time to develop, assuming Sam Darnold plays at a decent level. And that can be anything. We've seen quarterbacks sit for a year and then come in. We've seen quarterbacks sit for a couple of years before they're ready. I think that kind of timeline is almost indeterminate. If you think a guy benefits from learning from the sideline without having to play, then all of the time he's on the sideline developing is all positive.
In addition to adding Milroe and signing Sam Darnold, the Seahawks have a new offensive coordinator. He's been an offensive coordinator, obviously, in a year with the Saints, a year with the Vikings. Kubiak's background is obvious, but also time with Shanahan. How do you like the fit of him here in Seattle, and what do you think Seattle's trying to accomplish with that hire?
Yeah, I like the fit generally, and in the last few years, I think, obviously that Shanahan scheme and those sort of Shanahan derivative schemes have been almost the meta system throughout the NFL. It's been the one that everybody's been trying to get hold of. But last year was the first year where that wasn't really true, or at least most of those offensive systems that were some version of a Shanahan scheme struggled for the first time. We saw that in Miami. We saw it in Houston, where Bobby Slowick went from a potential head coach to a guy that got relieved of his duties at the end of the year. He got fired at the end of that season. So it's going to be interesting to see this season whether the league has finally caught up to the Shanahan system and actually started to cause it some issues and force it to have to evolve again, or if it was just a random bad year for a bunch of these teams and it can be explained by personnel or other things, and actually the offense will be as strong as it's ever been. But generally speaking, that offense likes to run a lot of wide zone. It likes to, use play action off the back of that and relatively simplify the reads for the quarterback. And I think we already saw last season. Kevin O'Connell through Sean McVay, it's a kind of cousin of those offenses as well. And that was a great fit for Sam Darnold.
Kind of a follow-up for that one. You answered it a bit as part of your answer, but I'm just curious. You mentioned those offensive systems, kind of relics of the Shanahan system itself, were exploited. What did you see? What's your theory about how they might have been exploited if it's not just this 1 year kind of down year for a couple of these teams? Is there something, maybe a pattern that you were seeing?
I think one thing that has shifted in the league in the last few years is this massive increase in the complexity of pressure looks that teams are throwing at offenses. And, guys like Brian Flores has been a great example of that in Minnesota. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Flores, his defenses have caused Shanahan's offense, and in particular the 49ers offense, sort of, the godfather of the system almost. His offense has had real problems going up against that Minnesota defense because of the complexity of the looks. So I think that's a part of it. And I think that's had a knock-on effect with the offensive lines where, for years, the Shanahan offenses have kind of papered over relatively weak offensive lines on paper and made them look a lot better than I think the personnel is. And for years, we've been looking at Miami and San Francisco and Houston and saying, this is not a good offensive line on paper, and it just never mattered because the offense was able to make it look good anyway. And Shanahan, for years, we look at the quarterback bumps that happen when he's coaching somewhere, or even wide receiver bumps, but he also does the same thing for offensive linemen as well. Tackles have career years when they're working with Kyle Shanahan as well as quarterbacks and wide receivers. So I think because the defense has found a way of fighting back with these pressure looks, suddenly the personnel problems on the offensive lines of all these teams became an issue when it looked like it should have been an issue for years. Miami's offensive line was a mess last year. Houston's was a disaster. The 49ers was worse than it's been for years. So I think those things, in concert caused the problems.
How do you feel about the center position? We're assuming Oluwatimi is going to be the guy. Haynes has gotten reps there. Sundell has gotten reps there as well. Where do you see that position going?
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine Oluwatimi starts this year, and they would hope he gets better from where he was a year ago. I'd love to see Gray Zabel given a shot to win that job long term, and maybe it doesn't happen year one. Maybe it's more of a year 2 or 3 thing. He transitions to center, but he looked absolutely phenomenal playing center at the Senior Bowl all week. I mean, he looked phenomenal in every position he played at the Senior Bowl. I think he was arguably the best player there during the entire week of practices. But I thought in particular at center, he just looked so natural and so comfortable playing that position. It's as much of a mental workload center as it is a physical thing. So, teams don't generally like starting rookies at center if they can avoid it. So, maybe for that reason alone, he's not going to get that chance this year. But he might be the long-term future at center, even if he's not the short-term one.
Last one for me. Is there another rookie or just a new addition, could be a free agent for Seattle, that you're particularly interested in?
I really like the Torrey Horton pick in the draft, Colorado State wide receiver. I think he got kind of slept on throughout this entire process because he got hurt. I remember going through tape last year and wondering why people weren't talking about this Torrey Horton kid until I realized he'd gone back to college and he was going to be in this draft instead. And it really didn't work out for him in terms of he got that injury. And I think it kind of made everybody forget about him and lose sight of what he could be. But not only is he a good prospect, period, but I think he's a great fit specifically for this offense, where I think he perfectly fills the kind of missing piece of the skill set of Jackson Smith and Jigba and Cooper Kupp, and he's the Marquez Valdez-Scantling type of player, and obviously Valdez-Scantling is the type of player who he can be a useful veteran addition, but there's not an awful lot preventing you from going with the young guy if he shows a lot. So I'd be really interested in keeping an eye on him through training camp, through preseason, and seeing if he can really carve himself that role as like the third receiver who plays outside the other two guys.
He is the 33rd team. Sam Monson, kind enough to join us to talk Seahawks here. Thanks, Sam.
Anytime, guys. Stay easy.
Have a good one. All right, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, the NBA draft gets going tonight. Cooper Flagg will likely go number 1 overall to the Dallas Mavericks. What's the real headline?
I guess then Luka becomes the false flag. Because of the trade. I'm trying to make it work. Look,
what are we doing?
It was a controversial, horrible trade. Very weird he went straight to the Lakers, and there was no, seemingly bargaining going on over Luka's services. And then the Mavs get the number 1 pick. I know that's not what we're talking about with the draft. It's all going to be about Cooper Flagg himself going to the Mavs. But I still think it's weird.
Yeah, it's too much of a coincidence, right?
That's what I'm saying.
It's like, all right, well, we're going to move Luka. Don't worry about it. Fair trade, right? AD gets hurt. Kyrie got hurt, too. And now you get the number 1 pick. And their chances of getting the number 1 pick were crazy. But you know what? It is what it is. We have no proof, so we just have to deal with it. Cooper Flagg will be the number 1 pick. But I want to there's a young man, Cedric Howard, out of WSU, who's projected to go in the first round. So I will be looking out for him. The NBA draft doesn't move me the way it used to. I used to be locked in and really paying attention to it. But none of these drafts can touch what the NFL does every year.
Is it not just because you don't see see a lot of guys impact the league right away? Is it also because it becomes so expected what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Like Cooper Flagg, overwhelmingly, you'd have to, I read on ESPN, you'd have to bet $1,000 to win $1 on Cooper Flagg becoming the first overall pick.
Yeah, I think I mean, NFL, too, you know who's going to go first. NHL, you know who's going to go first. MLB, I have no idea what's going to happen over there with their draft. You lose some of the shine because you know what's going to happen. And then the NBA draft isn't as deep. Like the NFL draft, we can get into the 4th round, and you're still picking up a couple guys that you watch play, some ballers. I just hope that, no hate on the Europeans, I just hope that Cooper Flagg is the American to bring the MVP back to the United States.
Wow.
I'm tired of this.
Wow.
Headline rewrites.
Not kind about international relations.
Man, you got SGA, you got Giannis, you got Luke. I mean, the Joker.
Just had an Irish person on our air.
Goodness gracious.
How dare you?
I thought he was from Canada. He said out, and I was like, where's my man from? I didn't realize he was
They're
Irish.
both under the.
Yeah.
That's my people's, though. Irish.
Headline number 2, the Storm held Caitlin Clark to just 6 points last night, but they still lost to the Fever 94-86. What's the real headline?
You do, in fact, have to call in sick today because Seattle wasn't able to keep this Fever down.
No, they weren't. And Caitlin Clark had a bad day from 3, 0 for 6. She's only shooting 29% from 3, but she takes the second most 3-point shots in the game. Still second in assists, 11th in scoring. Whenever she's out there, people are going to watch. And when she's playing, she gets everyone's best shot. So, it is what it is. Fever still got it done.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, crowd shots of OKC's championship parade went viral on Tuesday for their paltry attendance. What's the real headline?
That includes people who are just walking to Applebee's. I know that we say you don't have to hand it to OKC. I do, in this case, have to say that the estimated attendance is 700,000. However, the population of OKC proper is around 700,000. So the whole town turned out. It's just, I'll take a shot at OKC anytime.
They should have just pushed everyone together, like condense it a bit more. I think that's
like how
why.
birds do to try to look bigger. You move as one.
Yeah, sure. Just
You know what I'm saying?
push everybody downtown. Oh, snaps, knock my water bottle over. Push
The show's going off the rails.
We're everywhere. Push everyone downtown. Just have them do one lap around the block. Put it in a park and just make it look grand. You know? Mirrors, yeah, sure.
Hire paid actors to be Oklahoma City fans.
It just doesn't, nothing about Oklahoma looks exciting. Like, nothing about it looks exciting.
No, I mean, I love Chili's. Like, that's, they've
been
got
to
a
Tulsa.
mall,
Tulsa
probably.
was cool. I've been to Tulsa. That was all right.
Yeah.
There's not much there.
I only know of Tulsa, Alabama.
Tulsa, Alabama?
Yeah.
There's a Tulsa, Alabama?
I swear to God, there's a Tulsa, Alabama. Isn't there? A Tulsa, Alabama.
Is there?
There's
No.
Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, me second guess. I'm like, is there, was I not in Oklahoma?
There is no Tulsa, Alabama.
Okay, there's no Tulsa, Alabama,
No.
but there is a very close second, Tuscaloosa.
A few more syllables.
Well, you guys know that birds do that, right?
Yeah, they make themselves big.
That's real. Matt, you were looking at me like that wasn't real. Birds will get together.
Well, it's like the whole school of fish.
Exactly. They'll fly as one. Oh, maybe I am thinking of fish.
You absolutely are.
I think you are.
I've been
No,
looking
I
at
think
you.
birds do that. No,
I've been
I
looking
swear.
at you like you're going crazy today.
Listen, who
because
wants
you're
attacking
going
birds?
crazy today.
I've had a lot of caffeine on an empty
No,
stomach.
no animals are just attacking birds like that. The fish makes sense.
Eagles, other birds. Other birds attack birds. Eagles, yes, they do.
Yeah, but it's not like. I think you're getting your species mixed up right now.
Do birds fly
Fish are the
together
birds of the
to
sea.
look bigger for predators? Okay. Google AI is telling me that birds flocking together can create visually larger presence, and a primary reason is for safety and efficiency. It makes it harder for predators to target a single bird. So somewhere out there are enemy birds that are
falcons,
idiots, and fooled by all these little birds flying together.
The most first half home runs for a catcher in baseball history.
Congratulations, Cal Raleigh.
What are we doing?
American League Player of the Week. A .417 average.
OPS over 1,600, 5 homers, 12 ribbies.
And one hell of a model American.
Now you have the question of whether or not he's the front runner as AL MVP.
Where you follow along the Big Dumpers, Big Run, Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Breaking news for the people of Boomtown. With Xfinity Mobile, the Wi-Fi is booming, at home and on the go.
And an upgrade storm's on the way.
That's right. And with Xfinity Mobile Premium Unlimited, you can upgrade your phone when you want, up to 2 times a year.
Now, once customers catch wind of the guaranteed new device discount, it'll be the biggest upgrade storm in history.
Wow. Let's hear from our weatherman on the scene.
How's it looking out there, Rick?
Well, Bill, the Wi-Fi is still booming.
Now through September 30th, existing Xfinity Internet customers can get an unlimited line included for a year. Plus, ask how to get a free 5G phone. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Unlimited line offer requires Xfinity 300 megabit internet or above. Taxes, fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Reduced speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds vary.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions. 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and we've been talking about this. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience because the hotel opens up August 8th. Bookings are open at snocasino.com starting on August 8th. The expanded non-gaming floor, the destination spa, the big new entertainment space and convention center, new restaurants as well. They're combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com for details. Seattle's closest, now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Every success you've had began with a great opportunity. Now there's another one. Last aid year, University of Maryland Global Campus awarded over $21 million in scholarships to qualified students, including community college students, service members, veterans, and working adults. Now is the time to move your career forward with an online and accredited skills-based education. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Are you frustrated with those trendy weight loss shots and not getting the long-term results you really want? This is Dr. Ryan Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and whether you've hit a plateau, can't handle the side effects, or watch the pounds creep back after stopping, there's a better way. Our program has helped over 4,000 people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks without expensive injections or uncomfortable side effects. Our doctor-developed program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast. Ready for real lasting results? Visit eastsideweightlossclinic.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Did he just say Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is half the cost and works twice as fast as weight loss injections? Well, if that's not reason enough, you don't risk the scary side effects or gaining the weight back as soon as you stop. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is natural, and it works.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two, and you can do our program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health. It's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Here's what happened.
Matt, bringing us back from break.
No, I'm really upset. How dare you?
Here's what happened.
Yeah, explain yourself.
Stacy was talking about something she saw on Google AI. Right as we normally go to break, I had my finger over the break button, but I wanted to turn my mic on to continue to make fun of Stacy and instead hit the break button. That's my bad. That's on me. I'm very sorry. But also, don't trust Google AI. They told people to eat rocks the first week it was released. Like,
what?
Oh, yeah, you didn't see that?
No.
It told people, like, you're supposed to eat a rock a day for fiber or whatever.
What?
Don't listen to Google
People
AI.
did it?
It's trash. I don't think anyone did it.
If
but
you ever
it
needed
said-
evidence, the robots are trying to kill us. They're like, watch this, watch this, watch
We
this.
got 'em.
You guys should eat rocks. Can you believe that?
My buddy just texted me. He goes, Ducks fly together. I thought you were a Mighty Ducks fan. I'm like, it's for aerodynamics, so it's not. It's
No,
not for
I think it's
safety.
for predators. We've already established this.
They fly in a V. It's for aerodynamics. It's
Touchdown
not
on
for
drag.
No, I know. I know that. I get it. But like, I really do think that. I swear this is something that I learned.
It's okay, Stacy.
I'm sorry for taking us off the rails.
We're in Alabama.
We only have 90 minutes left. The Tulsa and Alabama thing I can't live down. I really tried to find every Tulsa. I was convinced I could find another Tulsa. There's one in Texas that's a ghost town. Matt found one. Where'd you find one?
The Punjab region in Pakistan.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of. One of the biggest mysteries of the 2024 NFL season was Deontay Johnson's suspension in Baltimore after a midseason trade to the Ravens. He explained what went down.
I wasn't getting into no run plays, no passing plays, no nothing.
Wasn't it cold as shit, you said?
Yeah, it was cold. So I'm on the sideline, just standing there, just going to the heater back and forth, just waiting to hear my name called.
Yeah.
So, fourth, end of third, going into the fourth or whatever. They're like, Tay, we need you. I'm like, nah, I don't think it's to me, I don't think it's a good idea for me, because I was thinking about my legs. I don't want to go out there and put bad stuff on film.
Right.
And it's not like I didn't want to go in the game, but you got to think leading up to this point, I done been through so much. And
like you said, man, you were kind of checked out.
I checked out mentally. I was like, whatever happens, happens. I was just rolling with the punches at that time. So I told him I wasn't going in. I was like, I understand what you're saying, but I'm not finna go in. So I just sat on the bench. And then that's when they suspended me.
This is from an interview with the Sports in Suits podcast. It is interesting
Who are the
to hear.
hosts?
Huh?
Who are the hosts of that?
I don't actually know. I'll
Stop
look it up.
gassing them up. You get your butt in the game. Oh, yeah, you were cold, you were tired. You're getting paid to do a job. Get your butt in the game. What are you talking about? They're trying to make it all soft and fluffy for him. That is weak.
What would you say if he told you that? I didn't want to put bad stuff on tape.
So what? Get in the game. You're paid to play the game. Put bad stuff on tape. Goodness gracious, that's so soft, man. Deontay, I'm not calling you soft, but that was soft.
Yeah, it is. Look, he was also released from, correct, the Texans?
Yeah.
Right? So when you have multiple coaching staffs that are like, we don't like this guy's attitude. We don't think he's a team player. He's being very stubborn. And I want to say there was another part of the story.
He played for 3 teams last year.
That's a you thing.
Come on, man.
You know what I mean? That's when you are complaining about enough different people, after a while it's you.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I see what he's trying to say. I think he's just in the wrong.
He is wrong. There's no excuse for not going to the game. If you are not injured, if you are able, go do your job that they're paying you to do. That is weak, man.
Next up, Robert Kraft is promising Patriots fans they'll have a better season in 2025.
Any Patriot fans that are out there, I can tell you I'm very excited about this upcoming season. The last 2 years were the worst years of my 31 years of ownership. We have to change that. We have a new coach in Mike Vrabel who is really connected with the players, who's doing great work. We have a young quarterback, a lot of great veterans, free agent veterans who came in, a great draft class. We're going to have fun this year, I promise.
I don't know if this was at a Fanatics event, but he's on stage talking in front of a large crowd.
Yeah, I think from what I'm hearing out of that camp, right, G. Scott's son is over there as well, G. Scott Jr., then a kid from Eastern Washington, Efton Chisholm III. So I got a little bit of intel on the New England Patriots, and they're buying in. It seems like everyone's buying into what they're doing. I asked my kid, I go, what's Stephon Diggs? How is he? He goes, he does nothing. He just, he's there. He's a good dude, but he's
does nothing.
He'll do individual drills for a little bit, and then he's done.
Does none of the workouts. Doesn't really. I mean,
he's Diggs. I go, well, when you have like 6,000-yard seasons, and dating Cardi B, you do what you want to do.
Let's talk tight ends. George Kittle and Greg Olsen are currently putting on their annual Tight End U, and Kittle spoke about the importance of the position in the modern NFL.
One of my favorite things to look back on is if you look at the past 10 Super Bowl winners, every team has either a Gronk, a Kelsey, Dallas Goedert. You have an elite tight end playing that makes plays for you throughout the whole season, throughout the playoffs, throughout the Super Bowl. You have guys that make plays. And so I just think guys saw, Gronk and the Patriots win all these championships. We need to invest a little bit more time in these tight ends, maybe get them some more ops. So I just think offenses have seen success of other teams using their tight ends so much. And now they're like, oh, we're going to try using them too. And now you see all these tight ends from every team. The Ravens have a great tight end room. They got, Charlie Kolar, Isaiah Likely, and Mark Andrews, 3 great tight ends. Yeah. And so you building these rooms of the tight ends, now you go 11 personnel, 12 personnel, 13, 22, all these personnels with multiple tight ends, and that's the best way to play the game.
I was on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast. What do you think about what George had to say about the evolution of the position?
I think he has a lot of good stuff to say. I wouldn't say it's the best way to play the game. It's a way to play the game. You have multiple ways to be successful. But one thing to be true, I think we pointed it out last year, or maybe this year, that most of the teams that had elite tight ends were still in the game. You got Mark Andrews, who's been great. Unfortunately, his season ended on a bad note. Buffalo Bills had 2 tight ends over there. Of course, Kansas City Chiefs have their tight end. The Niners have theirs. Yeah. The more successful teams have pretty good tight end play.
What's that relationship with the run game, too? How pivotal is it? I feel like the conversation became, oh, my God, look at these tight ends having 1,000-yard seasons. But how important is it that they've also evolved as blockers still?
Yeah.
Or does it matter as much?
No, you got to be able to block. And I think that's going to be their question with Arroyo. That's what at least we've heard, is that he's not the greatest blocker. But if you can just be a decent blocker, you influence that second level, the run game, you release, you get open. It's tight ends are probably the most versatile players on the football field offensively.
Cameron Jordan, in our next story, has a theory on the dumbest penalties in the NFL.
The dumbest rule in the NFL today, Cam?
For the fans, I think it's the excessive celebration. Boy, if you don't let them celebrate,
please.
They scored a touchdown. They dragged 3 defenders on their back. Let them. I got a sack off quarterback. Give me 5 seconds. If that put the spotlight on me, I'm gonna hit the levels. I'm gonna hit one of these. In fact, I'm gonna kick him while he's down, and I'm gonna go about my way. But let us celebrate. It's okay to taunt. Bring back taunting. Let me talk my.
That was also at Fanatics Fest, and you know what? I agree with him.
I ain't mad at him. I think Joe Burrow said he likes the taunting as well. And, some people are old school, and they say, like you said earlier today, to act like you've been there before, you've done it before. Man, when you make a play on a field, it is one of the greatest accomplishments in the world, man, because you work so hard, you get to that point of no return, you make the play. Celebrate. We're humans. We have emotions. You see soccer players, man, they celebrate like crazy when they score a goal. So let the kids play. Let them have some fun.
This was in an interview with ESPN's Laura Rutledge and Dan Orlovsky. We're now getting to Cardinals tight end Trey McBride on what he learned at Tight End U.
Yeah, I think Travis, he would always give us the nuggets on be friendly to the quarterback. Make sure you and your quarterback are on the same page. And he kind of plays with a little freedom. Him and Mahomes have this nice connection. And I kind of took that. I'm like, why can't Kyler and I have that same connection? And I feel like that's what I've tried to do. I've tried to have that relationship, that growth with Kyler, and just continue to make plays for him and be that security blanket where if he needs somewhere to go with the ball, he always can throw it to me. That's awesome. That's what I'm trying to do.
Now, I know that there have been wide receiver quarterback combos that maybe weren't the best of friends, but still had a really good connection and really good chemistry. Do you focus as, I'll just say a pass catcher, so tight ends included, but obviously receivers, in building up like a personal relationship with the quarterback so that you just have this unspoken thing?
Yeah, you like to. You try to. Obviously, it doesn't work out that way all the time. But, yeah, all my kids, even the young man that I train that's with the Patriots right now, I go, you get to know Drake May. Like, y'all become homies, man, because then there's a trust there. And, there's a relationship. Every quarterback I played with, we were boys. Like, I made an attempt to make sure that we kicked it. We're on the same page. So it's deeper than football. When you have that connection off the field, it makes the play on the field better.
I bet that does kind of because you have to think you're making split-second decisions, and you can't always control the way your mind works in a split second. So part of what you're doing as a quarterback is analyzing the defense, looking for reads. But then part of what you're doing is also thinking, I trust this guy.
Yeah.
He works so hard. He's here all the time. He's always in the right place. I feel like he won't let me down.
I made the team because of Seneca Wallace. And I made sure I was talking to Seneca. Obviously, I was running with the 2s and the 3s. And he would throw me some passes that he shouldn't have thrown. But he trusted that I was going to catch a football.
Did you catch him?
And we were going to look good. Most of the time I did. No. Big up Seneca Wallace. I wouldn't have had my cup of coffee if it weren't for him.
More from Buster Olney coming up next.
It's all about finding a way to get her done.
Tagging at third, Dylan Moore. He'll score easily. And the Mariners have the lead. Julio Rodriguez.
After they allowed the other team to come back, they didn't panic, found a way to get it done late.
Today, the M sent George Kirby to the mound, eyeing a 4th straight win. Mariners, Twins. First pitch today at 4:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 3:30 on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Did you know in Washington State, you can see a physical therapist without a referral from your doctor? That's right. Thanks to Direct Access, you can skip the wait and get the care you need right away. Shannon O'Kelly, how has Direct Access changed the game?
Direct Access for us, Brock, is a game changer. Why? Is because there is so much research and data out there that says if you get in early when you have a musculoskeletal problem or an injury, the earlier you get in and we can start care, the better outcomes and the decreased downstream cost, okay? So it's so important. Our providers are all doctors of physical therapy. They're all trained to identify situations and problems. They've got the skill, they've got the talent, they've got the knowledge. If you get in and start therapy early, we're going to get you back to activity, pain-free, and moving and having fun.
Fast, easy, effective. Direct Access is your path to better movement, starting with a single step. Visit irgpt.com to schedule your appointment today. irgpt.com.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Stacy Rost here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman today at woiseattle.org. That's woiseattle.org.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
What's the biggest mistake you can make when selling your home? Settling for less money. That never happens with Orchard. Disappointing offers can wear you down, causing you to settle for thousands less. You don't have to settle when you sell with Orchard. Orchard reinvented the real estate industry by guaranteeing your home sale and helping you sell on the market for top dollar. First, Orchard gives you cash up front so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then once you're all settled in, your Orchard agent helps sell your home on market for top dollar. Here's what one Orchard customer said. I never could have sold without Orchard. I made way more than I expected, and it couldn't have been easier. With Orchard, you never have to settle for less. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Curious how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com. From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Buster Olney was on with Brock and Selk this morning. They asked him a ton about Cal Raleigh's campaign for MVP. We talked about that a little bit earlier. You can listen to it in the Bump and Stacy podcast and also, of course, on Brock and Selk's podcast for the full interview. Now we're going to talk about Buster Olney's comments on what he makes of the Mariners at this point of the season, what he's seeing as the trade deadline emerges, and then on the impact of your hitting staff, Kevin Seitzer and Edgar Martinez. So let's start with what he makes of the Mariners at this point in the season.
I think that they're among, I do believe that there are just so many teams in the middle, and they're almost to the point of hard, it makes it hard to define them all, right? What are the Boston Red Sox, who you just saw in Seattle? What are the Toronto Blue Jays? I think the Mariners actually have one of the better chances to break out of that pack because of their potential ceiling for their pitching once they get that in order, because of the fact that their centerpiece star is having the greatest season that we've ever seen from a catcher in the history of baseball.
Again, what he makes of the M's at this point in the season, they have the weapons to kind of push ahead in the wild card race, but it's obviously in large part because of what Cal Raleigh's doing. He's got to continue to stay hot. I will say I was looking back at some of Cal Raleigh's splits in previous seasons. He is I don't want to say a second half guy, but like his hottest months in the last couple years, July, August, September. I don't know that he's going to have 32 home runs.
You ever go to a movie when you were younger and it was so good you didn't want it to end? Like, I just don't want this thing to end. That's what it's like looking at Cal. It's like, I just don't want this to end. And we know that if he happened to cool off, then that just affects this team dramatically. So it's exciting, but it's like, we need this. If Cal doesn't do this, this team isn't in position they're in right now.
I want to ask you a question that Curtis asked me the other day, and I realized that I'd been spoiled rotten by Cal's season because my answer was just egregious. What home run total would be like a satisfactory number or a number that you'd be excited to see? Like, would you be disappointed? I'll reframe. Would you be disappointed if Cal Raleigh finishes the season with 48 home runs, which would tie the total? That's what I said.
He's got to get 50.
Yeah.
I mean, you're too far ahead at this point. Where's he at, 32 right now?
32.
You're too far ahead at this point. You had 30 all of last year. You had, 10 home runs, I believe, this month. Last month, he had 12. You got to hit 50 now.
I know.
I almost feel bad even saying that
That's how
got to
I
hit
felt.
50. Like, that's an easy thing to do.
I mean, look, 32 home runs before the All-Star break. If he hits 39, he ties Barry Bonds' record. That's a lot to ask. 7 more home runs over the next 2.5 weeks. But even if he hits 2 more, you're talking about being on pace with Aaron Judge last season.
Yeah.
So those are insane
How
numbers.
many hit last season? 60? How many hit?
His home run, what was Aaron Judge's new AL home run record, Curtis? 63, I think. He's
distracted.
Yeah. That's okay. We'll get back to him. He'll chime in when he figures it out. Aaron Judge's home run total last year. Was it 63?
Not last year. That was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. What was the new AL record?
62.
62. Okay.
Okay.
So, I mean, if Cal's on pace for 66.
It's just that it feels unfair. Like, I hate putting that on Cal, but he did this to himself. All right? You got 32 bombs.
You made your bed, okay?
Yeah, you're making us have these expectations for you.
Okay, let's talk about Buster's comments on some of the sellers this year, what the trade deadline looks like. I'm going to combine a few. First, there are so few sellers this year, and they don't have anything good to sell. That's a problem.
So it looks like it's going to be a seller's market because there are so few available players that are going to be in the marketplace. In the past, by the time we got to the trade deadline, you might have a third of the teams that they were sellers, a third of them might hold, and a third of them might be buyers. This year, there are so few sellers, it's crazy. And part of that is the mediocrity of the American League that we've been talking about with a bunch of teams, bunched together. And the other thing is that a lot of the teams that we know are going to be sellers, the Marlins, for example, the Colorado Rockies, the White Sox, the perception of other teams is they don't have much to sell.
So this is the tough situation Seattle's front office now finds itself in. You, for the last 2 weeks, have been playing like a team that can make a push for the playoffs. You're still 4.5 games back in the AL West, but Cal Raleigh is raking.
Mm-hmm.
You just won again. Curtis, did you say it's 8 of 11, 7 of 10?
8 of 11.
8 of 11. I mean, your offense is heating up. Your team is heating up. You aren't drastically closing the gap between Houston, but you're firmly in the wild card race. You think you got to add, but what do you do when you're shopping at a garage sale?
Right.
And you got $2 in your pocket. Well, you actually have quite a bit more in terms of prospects. I shouldn't say that, but there's not a lot available.
You're going to do this is set up for them to do exactly what they want to do. Just get an okay bat, a name that doesn't really move people, and go from there. Because you're right. You're only as good as what's out there, and there's not much out there at this point. So, look, do I expect Solano to keep playing the way that he's playing? Probably not. It'd be nice to. We had Jordan Shusterman on, and he said, look, this is the guy that he thought he was capable of being. That's who he's been. So it'd be nice for him to continue to perform this way. It'd be nice for Cole Young to take the steps forward and Ben Williamson too. But no, this is set up for the Mariners to be comfortable. And when are they comfortable? Not making big moves. That's what they do best.
Let's talk about the impact of Kevin Seitzer and Edgar Martinez. Here's Buster.
He is. I've always enjoyed talking with him. He's obviously incredibly knowledgeable. And I think he and Edgar are the same in this regard, is that they are just so calm. And that's the way you want your coaches to be. The worst coaches that I've seen in my time covering the sport are the guys who can run hot and cold on players. These are, I think Kevin also has an absolutely bottomless pit of empathy, because he knows how hard it is. The guys are going to go through long stretches, and he's going to be the same personality the other day. That's what I've always heard about Edgar. I spent a lot of time when Alex Rodriguez and I worked together on Sunday Night Baseball. I mean, as you guys know, Edgar is Alex's hero in his life. Like, he loves Edgar, and the stories about Edgar and how even keeled he was, doesn't surprise me that he and Kevin are working well together.
I am, among the things I'm most curious about this season is the impact of Kevin Seitzer and Edgar Martinez. Because they're not working with new information as a coaching staff, right? Scott Service's coaching staff and previously this Mariners front office knew the things to work on with players. So is it just luck? Is it a new voice resonating? Is it, I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah, it's everything. It's luck, it's new voices. Seitzer needs to get more love than he gets. I think Edgar gets a lot of the attention as he should. He's Edgar Martinez, but it's always a combination of things, So it's all about momentum. And I was just with Big Ray this weekend, so I didn't use that word around him. He hates momentum. But it's all about Uncle Momo is what we called it growing up, man. Just feeling it and believing in it. Because, as athletes, when good things start to happen, like you convince yourself this is who we are. This is what we do. And when bad things happen, you convince yourself, okay, we just have to climb out of that.
Yeah.
So it's such a mental game that you have to play. But it's a bunch of ingredients that get this thing going.
Let's talk about some of those ingredients and also the mental game that players have to play with themselves. Rowland-Smith joining us next.
It's all about finding a way to get her done.
Tagging at third, Dylan Moore. He'll score easily. And the Mariners have the lead. Julio Rodriguez.
After they allowed the other team to come back, they didn't panic, found a way to get it done late.
Today, the Ensign George Kirby to the mound, eyeing a fourth straight win. Mariners, Twins. First pitch today at 4:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 3:30 on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you? I just wanted to request a late checkout, please.
Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours.
Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours.
Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Do your summer plans include travel? Make sure your prep includes more than just flights and hotels. Stay up to date with COVID-19 vaccination, especially if you're 65 or older or have certain health conditions. There have been surges in COVID-19 in the summer, too. It's important to help protect yourself no matter your destination. So check eligibility and schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. That's VAXAssist.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better. Live stronger. Start now.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with XFi Complete required for unlimited data, except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
There is rain in the forecast for today's Game 3 in Minnesota. First pitch between the Mariners and Twins scheduled for 4:40 p.m. Pre-game's at 3:30 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports, where Shannon Dreyer will keep you updated on any potential delay. A look at today's scoreboard. The D-backs down 5-2 to the White Sox, top of the 7th in Chicago. Brewers up 4-1 over the Pirates as that game heads to the bottom of the 7th.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
Talking Mariners with Ryan Rowland-Smith, joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Ryan's weekly visit with us brought to you by Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. Ryan, how's it going?
I'm doing fantastic.
I'm going to start with the obvious, that being Cal Raleigh. I've just had a lot of fun. Bump and I have been talking about, obviously, like any MVP campaign that he could mount. And while I think there are some fans that are going, of course he should be MVP, the fact that Cal is finding himself in a conversation with Aaron Judge, the overwhelming favorite, who for the first 2 months of the season was on a historic pace, is pretty cool. How does he continue to cement his case, though? Like, what's his best bet?
Well, I think, first of all, looking at, look at the raw numbers, right? Like, obviously, Aaron Judge, if it was to end today, in every category except for home runs, Cal having 32, him having 28, which is crazy to think in June 25th, and we're talking 30 plus. But, look, batting average, 364 versus 281 for Cal, slugging 724 versus 667, on base percentage nearly 80 points higher, nearly 100 points higher, OPS, all those numbers from an offensive standpoint. Yes, Aaron Judge. And by the way, I do want to say this. I know everyone's heavy on Cal catching. I'll get to that in a minute. Mm-hmm. Aaron Judge is no slouch defensively either. He's having a really, really good year defensively. Because people tend to think of him as being maybe someone you got to move out of center field. Because no, they did that because of Trent Grisham, but his defense is still playing a role here too. Now, I think for Cal, if it was a situation at the end of the year, some of the things that matter outside of some of the numbers that you can rattle off all day, the things that matter is, yes, he is a catcher. Defensively, he's really good, right? He's above average defensively. Mm-hmm. What the difference will be when we're talking at the end of 162. If the Mariners get to the playoffs, and I'm sure the Yankees will as well, I'll hang on to that AL East, and they do it, and we start talking about the Mariners pitching not being middle of the pack, but being a top 5 pitching staff, then if you kind of have these similar numbers, maybe a little bit little bit closer to some of these, average on base and WRC and all that, a little bit closer to Aaron Judge. Let's say he still falls behind him. But you're hypothetically looking at this saying, well, the Mariners got to October via pitching, then you can build a way stronger case for Cal Raleigh. And that's all going to depend. Honestly, he needs some teammates to help him out. That's what it comes down to. He needs some pitching to help him out, and he needs to have a situation where the Mariners are in October for him to have, if you want to make a case over all those offensive numbers, I feel like it's going to come down if the Mariners are there in October.
Ryan, is there a number when it comes to home runs that for Cal that would be disappointing to you if he didn't reach?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, he's a couple of things on that. If there's a number, okay, like you're saying, in other words, if he, sort of, let's say the league starts walking him, by the way, Barry Bonds was walked over 100 times intentionally in 2004. It's not going to be that crazy, but I'm telling you, it'll get to a place where they'll start pitching around him more, if not walking him. So let's say the home run all of a sudden falls. It's crazy to say. I think I'm
love
saying
this
right
question,
now.
by the way.
It's a great question because, look, if Cal really put up 45 home runs, you'd be like, oh, my God, that's just amazing. That's bronze statue material in the future.
But after putting up 32...
Yeah, he's already put up there.
It's
so
not
I'm
enough
going to
for
sit
me.
here. This is going to sound wild, but if I'm going to sit here and say, if he doesn't put up 50, I'm going to be like, oh, man. Which is, I can't believe I'm saying that. It's insane.
We had that
We had the same answer.
It's a great conversation. And that's even when you have a situation where teams, because by the way, look, everyone's saying, why are they still pitching to him? They are still pitching to him. He's been way more aggressive. He is not getting to two strikes at all. He's looking at 3.4 pitches per at bat as opposed to 4.5, which is like a lot, right? So he's at the same first pitch swinging percentages as Julio, believe it or not. And he's doing damage on the first 3 pitches of an at bat. Teams, and so you look at that and say, well, why are teams still throwing pitches in the zone? Well, at the same time, they're kind of not, right? They're going secondary pitches, way higher percentage now, first pitch, second pitch in an at bat, and he's getting them. If they're in the strike zone, he's getting them. So it's a situation where, okay, how much do you want to fall into if you're a pitcher, fall into a 2-0 count against Cal? You don't. But he's on a tear right now. So, yeah, man, if he goes sub 50, Cal, what are you doing?
This is a safe space. If he finishes with 49, setting a new record for catchers, man. I'm going to say, Cal, what a bum. What are we doing here? I know.
You're doing so well, son.
It's crazy to think how close he is to matching. I mean, we're talking McGuire numbers, Bonds numbers. Maybe not Bonds. I mean, you're 7 away from getting 39 before the All-Star break. Can he do 7 in 2.5 weeks? That's a lot to ask. But if he could do 2...
Yeah.
34, that's Mark McGuire number.
We need some more wind, put it that way. Just like in Chicago.
Exactly.
We need a little bit more of those windy days.
Speaking of Chicago, and for that matter, this first game against the Twins, bit of an offensive explosion. I'm glad that you mentioned, hey, Cal needs a situation. I wrote it down. Cal needs a situation where the Mariners are playing in October to have his best bet for MVP. And I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You mentioned, hey, those teammates around him need to step up. Who are you looking at? I mean, who are, maybe 2-3 guys where you're going,
when I'm saying step up, and just back to that too, just back to that conversation. So what my point was, if he's going to be taking votes away from Aaron Judge, and the numbers are the same as at the end of the year in regards to some of the offensive categories, he's second, not first, then it's going to have to come down to, but look, he's behind the plate and he's managing a pitching staff, and they're in October. And so when I say step up, I think on my point of view is on the pitching. If they can get back to a top 5 rotation, which they are more than capable, and I've said this to you guys, I've said it a bunch on air, that I think this team will get to October off of their pitching. They will. If they can all, pitch to 80% of their capacity, right? And so, therefore, if the rotation can step it up and have really good consistency, like we're slowly starting to see, Bryce Miller comes back, takes a breather and gets back, and Logan and George can get back to doing some good things. And you're looking at this going, well, man, look at the pitching. Well, who's behind the plate? And you hear those starting pitchers, by the way, campaigning. And, again, I'm being hypothetical here, but month of September, well, yeah, Cal behind the plate. Yeah, well, me and Cal. You hear all that. And he's hitting 55 home runs. Man, I'm telling you, that's if you're voting, man, you got to take a hard look into some of that value when you're talking most valuable player.
Is there anyone you're concerned about right now on this team?
Ooh, concerned about? I mean, I'm just thinking going down the lineup as I'm, glancing back and forth here. Concerned? It's tough to say concerned because offensively, we all know it's like you have that good week and then you slow down a little bit, then you pick it back up. But honestly, no. I mean, first of all, in regards to, I'll get with the pitching in just a second. But offensively, all right, Randy, he's all of a sudden this. If he's having these big swings and bouts of swing and miss, or he's going over, he's still putting up the on base, man, which is huge, especially when you're hitting behind a guy like Cal, who you're going to pitch around, and then you're going to have this 5-6 pitch at bat. Luke Raley looks way better since coming back, which is great. Solano looks good, obviously Kenzo. So I'm looking at this line going, there's way more depth here in regards to offensively what they're doing. On the pitching side, look, I'm so critical of some of these pitchers in the rotation because of how good they are, and they've done it to themselves, basically. It's not a situation where it's like, wow, he's pitching, beyond his capability. No, because we know how good they can all be. And I guess I hate hearing when I hear about Luis Castillo, because he's getting older, he's lost his fastball. No, he is elite, man. He is so tough to hit. I was talking to some of the guys over at the Red Sox when they were in town, and I said, hey, tell me, like, when we talk about facing some of these guys, who's just a really uncomfortable at bat? Talking to some of those guys, I don't want to name names, but they said, man, a lot of them said Luis Castillo. They said, man, it's just hard because he's got the two fastballs, one straight, it's at the top of the strike zone, and when he's on, he can land that pitch. And then he's got one that moves. So all of a sudden, you catch one off the handle and head down the line as you're running down to first base. You just want to see a little bit more of that consistency, I think, is super important. So, no, I don't think there's anyone really here I'm concerned about, especially offensively. I think there's just different elements of things that guys can do.
Let's stick with the rotation then. We've got Kirby on the mound today. Assuming this game is played, obviously we're watching for a potential rain delay. But Kirby otherwise scheduled. What are we watching for from him today?
I want to see him. I'm not sure if I spoke to you guys about this or if it was Wyman and Bob. I think it was Wyman and Bob I spoke to about this. And I maybe sound like a broken record, but the one pitch that's missing from his repertoire, which is such a big weapon in his All-Star year just a couple of years ago, he had this pitch, and that is his split. And I want to see that because here's the deal. A couple games ago, pitching against the Angels, 14 punch-outs, whatever it was, 14 strikeouts. It was all right-handed hitters. Fastball, two-seam, starts away, pitch on glove side, really good. Then he goes to the breaking ball, and he has a couple different shapes on the breaking ball as well. And then all of a sudden he faces the Guardians, and then he faces the Cubs, and it's these predominant lefties in there. And I'm talking guys like, Kyle Tucker, PCA, with Cleveland, obviously, you're looking at Jose Ramirez and so on. And there's counts I was watching. All right, perfect time for that 2023 split. That 2023 version of that split, which is such a big weapon. And he just didn't go to it, or he didn't execute early, and then he kind of put it in the back pocket. So he's missing that pitch. What I want to see from Kirby, and by the way, as a hitter, you can flat out eliminate half the plate at that point, because if he's going to get fastball, he's going to go that front hip two-seamer for lefties, and then he's going to get breaking ball in the same area. So you can kind of eliminate that outer half. If he gets it, tip your cap, and the rest I'm just going to try and do damage. So just show that pitch, at least show it somewhere in the strike zone with some kind of intent and conviction, and it'll change the entire day for George. I want to see that split come back, and when he gets that pitch back, I know I probably sound like a broken record because I've said it multiple times, but it's just not there for him right now, and I'd love to see it come to life. Maybe because I'm not on the road with the team, I don't know, I haven't had a chance to talk to Woody. I want to ask, hey, man, what do you do in the bullpen session? I always ask him, and he tells me, and I'm hoping that they did a couple of little extra reps of the split to get that right. What makes that pitch to you so impressive from Kirby? Like, if we're watching that game today, what will we see that makes you go, okay, it's back? Yeah, honestly, the command of it, because it's not a pitch. Look, he throws a two-seam two-seam fastball that has that run. But it's not a pitch that you can't pick up the rotation on. It kind of knuckles out of his hand. Logan's is kind of similar too. And therefore, if you're going to throw that pitch, two things you need. Number one, you need to be able to throw it in the strike zone when you want to, right? Because it's a tough pitch. It is a really tough pitch to command. It really is. It's not like throwing, some of these other secondary pitches. So if he can throw that pitch, which kind of starts middle, and it doesn't have to be crazy amount of movement, starts middle, and then can stay in the strike zone, and you get a couple called strikes. It just, again, you have to protect against that pitch. And the other one too, not so much horizontal but depth on that pitch. So it doesn't play off the two-seamer. It's not like it's a pitch that tunnels off the two-seamer, but just something, man, that has that tumble effect on it. Something that can start middle and then just have depth. The one thing that George Kirby has struggled with in his career, believe it or not, as good as he is, and again, I'm holding these guys to a different standard to anyone else in the big leagues, but getting below the strike zone. If you watch and you pay attention to, if he goes heavy breaking ball today because he doesn't feel right with that split, that curveball slider will stay, when it's not working, he will go left and right, right to left, but getting it below the strike zone is a challenge for him. It just always has been. So he needs that element of especially the lefties, something that, first of all, goes away from lefties and gets below the strike zone. So if you see that early from him, then hopefully you get some confidence and you see a higher percentage. Doesn't mean he has to just lean on that pitch, but just show it. Just get that pitch back, get that snowball effect on that pitch.
How much will the performance of Solano affect what this team does during the trade deadline?
Yeah, that's a good question, man, because I was thinking, okay. You have, yeah, geez, bump, killing me there. I need to step it up. It's interesting because obviously we know there's that, Rowdy gets DFA'd and Solano, who looks, by the way, 1,000 times better since coming back, to a guy with good, bat to ball. But if you're talking a big impact bat and you're talking trade deadline and there's something available, it's going to be really, really competitive at first base, because it just is, right? And especially too if you're talking maybe it's a rental or if someone with some more club control, that name's getting thrown out there, that's going to be even tougher to get. But the Mariners do have the system to do it. So I don't think that if you are in a mindset of saying, look, AL West is ours for the taking. Look at the Houston Astros. Look at the Texas Rangers. Look where we're sitting right now. This is this one place, this one bat that can change a lineup. I don't think it's going to, him taking off now is going to change that. However, what can happen if he can keep this consistency up and have that nice element, then you can look elsewhere. You can look somewhere else in maybe a different position that gets you that good lineup piece, but not so much the where you put them, one through, where you defensively put them. You can, shift someone around DH role or a different position or whatever it may be. But I still think that in regards to getting that offensive on-base power bat that you're looking at that corner at first base, I still think it would take a lot for them to say, not saying they're looking, I'm saying if that's the case, that Donovan Solano's like, oh no, we're good with him. It'll take a lot. It'll take what he's doing right now to do it consistently and with a little bit more extra base to go with it.
He is Ryan Rowland-Smith, kind enough to join us to talk Mariners here. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, guys.
See ya. Let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, Aaron Rodgers had an interesting quote while on the Pat McAfee show the other day. Bump, what was it, and how does it make you feel about the Steelers?
Aaron Rodgers said, this is it for me. So you pretty much got him alone, He just 1 year, and we'll see what happens. So that makes me think Pittsburgh Steelers. And he also said in an article that he had talked to Mike Tomlin once a week. So they knew this was going to go down. That's why there was no rush. But if you know you're going to get a 41, 42-year-old quarterback for 1 year, why weren't you more aggressive at the quarterback spot? You did draft Will Howard at Ohio State. I get that. And maybe they got their guy in Will Howard. But you had like a 18 pick, something like that. You had opportunities to go ahead and get yourself a quarterback. Will it be Dylan Gabriel? Maybe Shedeur Sanders? Who knows? But they kept passing up on these quarterbacks. What's your plan for the future? Maybe it is Will Howard, but it made me look at the way they handled the draft a bit differently. Mike Tomlin, I think, is on the hot seat. I said this last week. He's got to win ball games. He's got to get into the playoffs to win a game. I don't think that's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. So it had me scratching my head a little bit.
Yeah.
If I were the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm telling Aaron, I need at least 2 out of you, dog. Like, let me, you get us going this first year. Let us draft another quarterback, set us up for the following year. So we're set up for success. Right now, it's like they're here just for a good time, not a long time.
Do you think this is actually his last year? Like, he will hold true to that and retire and actually walk away into the sunset?
I think so. I think his body can't take it anymore.
Second down. Let's talk about another quarterback. How has Russell Wilson continued to be himself?
Russell was good at manipulating narratives and painting pretty pictures. And he said to the New York media, the reason why I came to New York is because of Malik Neighbors. No, the reason why you came to New York was because that was your only option. Not a knock on you. It is what it is. So I read the article and listened to him talk about it, and I just had to smile to myself because he is so good at convincing himself things to be true that aren't true. And maybe that's why he's had so much success in his career. Say what you want about Russell. Didn't leave Seattle the way you wanted to. Denver wasn't great to you. Dang, he was at Pittsburgh too. Pittsburgh wasn't. He's had a few stops, right? Pittsburgh wasn't great, but he continues to be employed because he's a good quarterback, right? Wasn't bad last year, wasn't great, but that made me smile a little bit because I think great athletes have the ability to do that. Convince yourself of things that aren't true. I convinced myself I was the greatest receiver of all time at one point. Far from it, right? But that's what great athletes do, and Russell's doing it again in New York.
That's such a good point. And now I'm thinking about, I always am a sucker for the poetic nature of something being someone's biggest strength and then eventually costing them. And I feel like, following your point, that's kind of how I see Russell Wilson, where, like, does Russell become the face of a franchise at 5'10", like a transfer guy who, had a prolific, final season, certainly in college, final 2 seasons, but was by no means projected to be a first rounder. He had great opportunities, had a great defense, had Marshawn Lynch and Pete Carroll and all that. But you also have to get there because you have so little self-doubt. Yeah. You truly have to believe, I am the best. And I think that part of that sets the stage for you to lift yourself up. But then that ends up costing you because you alienate people, you turn people off. When you aren't good anymore, you're in denial and maybe refuse to change certain things about your game. I find that fascinating.
I mean, it's worked for him. He's been in the league, 14 years?
Yeah, but you could argue that it's cost him part of his reputation.
Yeah, it has. But I think he's fine with that. I think he's so secure with who he is, it doesn't bother him at all.
Look, when you're married to Sierra.
Come on now.
Third down. There are a handful of players drafted in the second round who want guaranteed contracts, should their wishes be granted.
Once one team does something, it sets a precedent. Like, this is it now. So you had Houston and the Cleveland Browns, who gave their second rounders guaranteed contracts, picks 33 and 34. And as a player, I'm all for it because NFL, not for long. Your average career is like 3.5 years. Who knows? Maybe these guys play longer than that. As a player, I'm thinking, you go ahead and get your money. You got Nick Emmanwori, who wants guaranteed contracts now because there's 2 players that are drafted around where he was drafted who are getting the money. As a player, go get it. As an owner, as a GM, I'm cautious. I don't know what these players are going to do. I have high hopes for them. We drafted them high because we think they're going to contribute and get on the football field and do their thing. But who knows how long they're going to be around. Now John Schneider has a tough situation on his hands. Nick Emmanwori wants a guaranteed contract. He's not holding out. He's still going to practice or whatnot. I believe there's like a clause or something that protects him if he gets injured. But he wants what the other guys are doing. This could become a trend. If I'm an owner, I want to stay away from it. If I am a player, of course, once one player does it, the floodgates are open. Let's go get it. It just can't get crazy. Like back in the day when Matthew Stafford got $50 million guaranteed. He's done nothing in this league.
Yeah.
Sam Bradford, same situation.
Yep, last one before that big
absolutely
CBA.
Nothing. I'm against that because there are veterans who have been around 6-7 years who won't touch that money, and they've done more than these rookies will ever do.
It is wild, the drop-off between Sam Bradford's final. I think, was it the 2010, after the 2010 class?
I think so.
Right? So 2011 was the first year with that new CBA. The drop-off in those rookie deals was monumental. Bradford had $40 million. And I know that doesn't seem astronomical now, but those numbers compared to first-round picks from the following season, they, quote, lost, but missed out on millions of dollars. Fourth down. Who became one of your favorite Seahawks this past weekend?
So I was at the Seahawks Classic. It's a tournament that they put on every year at Sancadia. We played Tumble Creek. And I was playing behind a group, and there's this big old boy out there, man. 6'5", 307 pounds, just crushing the ball. And I finally caught up with him and started chopping up with him. And it was Mason Richmond. He was one of the just nicest dudes out there. So what they do is they put one player with 3 or 4 other players in a group, and they're the celebrity. And he was just a normal kid. I talked to him. He told me to tell you hello. We had him on our show before. And no, he just, personality-wise, I don't know what he's going to do in the league, right? Yeah. He's a 7th-round pick, a guard, I believe, out of Iowa. We'll see what happens. But personality-wise, if you guys want to root for somebody, look up 78. Mason Richmond is a good kid.
And go listen to our interview with him. He's incredibly likable. And I remember when we interviewed him, seeing texts on the text line of people going, I really like this guy. Yeah. It really resonated. It's just a very easy listen. Very likable guy. I like that answer. Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
Weather permitting, the Mariners will go for a series win today against the Twins. Pregame starts at 3:30, so Shannon Dreyer will be with you for updates on any potential rain delays. Otherwise, first pitch is at 4:40 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports. We're going to quantify what success looks like for a couple Mariners players coming up next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Talking about the Mariners' plan for the trade deadline.
Do you think people are reticent to the minor leagues and trade some prospects?
I know fans develop a connection to names they hear over and over. Often you don't see these guys. I don't know how many people are making trips out to Everett or out to Tacoma to watch the young guys, but there just aren't any sure things.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Tyrese live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Sunday, July 13th, 8 p.m. You've seen him on the screen. You've heard him on the radio. Now see him live for an unforgettable night. Get tickets before they sell out at muckleshootcasino.com. Tyrese, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
IRG Physical and Hand Therapy doesn't just treat injuries, they elevate athletes. From weekend warriors to elite competitors, IRG Sports Institute clinics are built for performance, blending top-tier physical therapy with advanced sports science and personalized training plans. Hey, Brock Hewitt here with Shannon O'Kelly, physical therapist and owner of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Why? Why elevate athletes as well?
Because here at IRG, Brock, our motto is we want you to be your best self, your best physical self, your best mental self, and your best community self. At our new IRG Fremont Sports Institute, we're providing that type of care. We've got the latest equipment, the greatest techniques, the providers there that are excited to get you better, basically bigger, faster, stronger. Doesn't matter if you're a weekend warrior, a recreational athlete, an elite athlete, we will make you to be your best.
You'll work with specialists who understand the grind because they've been there. With access to cutting-edge equipment and recovery techniques, you won't just heal, you'll come back stronger. Visit IRGPT.com, IRGPT.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
If you need to hire, you know it takes time.
Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. You simply pick a time and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day.
Try Zip Intro for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Overburdened with a bunch of stuff you don't want anymore, but feel bad throwing it away? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We prioritize donating and recycling. We'll help get your items to those in need instead of going to the landfill. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. It's time to reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
4,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer every year in Washington state. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda with Northwest Hope and Healing. We provide a lifeline to breast and gynecologic cancer patients. Join us at Life in Color, a brunch auction and fashion show on August 17th at the Columbia Collective in Woodinville for an unforgettable afternoon celebrating 25 years of hope and support. Get your tickets now for Life in Color on August 17th at nwhopeandhealing.org. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
You know what's so funny is someone texted in saying, oh, you guys always defend Julio. And I initially said, we didn't have a segment about Julio. What are you talking about? And they sent in a point that Jordan Shusterman had made. You had asked about pitching, and he said, God, I hate to, as part of his answer, he said, I hate to change the topic, but I actually want to really quick say something about Julio's power or something like that. It was a great interview with Jordan. The irony of this is that while my retort was, we haven't even talked about Julio, it did inspire a segment I thought would be fun. Because I don't mean this to be like an annoying topic. I know that Julio, in some people's minds, has a lack of production that's frustrating. But I thought it could be good for us, me, you, Bump, and listeners to figure out when we talk about what we want to see, right? Mm-hmm. What's an actual number? Like, I don't just want to hear, I need him to be clutch. Okay. I want to hear a stat, a slash line, a home run total, swing and miss, whiff rate, whatever it is, chase rate. I don't know. I want to hear an actual number that come, fingers crossed, well into October, we look at his numbers and say, that was a good season from him. I want to hear a real number. I don't want to hear about like, oh, I just want to feel that he does this.
Yeah, because it's hard to measure clutch, right? You got to go back the whole season, look at high leverage situations, and figure out, okay, how does he perform in those moments? I do understand that, though. I want to have that feeling
1000%.
For all these dudes on the roster,
yes.
right? You want them to be clutch. But for Julio, man, I'm just looking at his OPS, man. I just need his OPS like around 800, 850.
Okay.
You know, if you can hang on around there, that means everything else is falling in line for the most part. His average is okay. What his best average was his rookie season, 284, I believe it was, and it's kind of dropped down ever since then. But no, I'm looking at his OPS, and that's telling me that he's playing decent all-around baseball. And then I think his best WAR was 6, I want to say. I think maybe his second year. But yeah, give me that OPS around 800, 850.
I like that. 853 is his career high for a single season OPS. In his rookie season, as you mentioned, his best season statistically. Following that, in 2023, 818, and then around a league average, 734, and then down to 719 so far this season. I went basic. I looked at home run totals, and I'm just going to I don't think he's going to get a 30-30 season. He is on pace so he's got 11 home runs and 12 stolen bases. He's not on pace for this. This would be exceeding that pace. But if he could get like a 25-25, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
His home run total, 25 would be the third most of his career. I just don't see him surpassing 30. If he did, great. That would be a marker of success for me. He would have drastically outpaced in the second half his first half performance. It's also the only season, 2023, where he's had over 30 home runs. I just don't think that he can make up that ground. But if he can surpass the 20 home runs he had in 2024, get close to the 28 he had in 2022, that's going to take a massive second half effort, and it's one he's perfectly capable of. That's what success is going to look like for me, is like get the power. Like, let's see it.
Yeah, I need I should say just extra base hits too, man. He's got 11 doubles right now. He's got 3 triples. You got Cal, who has more doubles. Randy has more doubles, and Crawford is right there with you at 10. Because that's how runs are scored, right? Extra base hits, right? And we're seeing some of the power. There's some pop. What was it, last game of the game before, man? He drove one into the gap the other day. Exit velo was looking good. That's just squaring the ball up, man, and creating runs, right? He has 7 RBIs I think the last 3 games, so he's turning a corner there. It's just so hard to just look at that average, and I think some people fall in love with the average, and that's fine, right? You got JP leading the team at 284 right now, but when you have the start that Julio has every single year, the average ain't gonna be sexy most of the time, right? You gotta wait till the end of the season to kind of right some wrongs to look at that average. So that's why I'm leaning towards that OPS.
All right, hitting the text line 866-979-3776. I'll read you a few of these answers from listeners. And again, the point of this is to challenge ourselves to say more than just how we want to feel differently. I want to feel about Julio that he is an exceptional player who can meet the moment. I don't feel that way about him. I think he has all the talent in the world and doesn't meet the moment. That's how I feel about Julio. I feel sometimes really disappointed. But how do I translate that feeling into a number? Right? That's the tough part. It's kind of like how I say, the Mariners need to make a move. And if someone were to say, well, who do you want to see them add and for what? Oh, that's a tougher one to answer.
Yeah.
So this is comparatively easier, but in the same vein, well, what number do you want to see from Julio? Give me a number here. Okay, Bump. We've got, someone said 320 and 40-40, earn your money.
320?
He's 40-40, he has 11 home runs.
Yeah, that's not happening. He's got to get extremely hot. He's got to be Cal Raleigh hot.
Someone said, I just want a really good batting average with runners in scoring position. So for them, that's how they're going to be measuring his clutchness and how he delivers.
I like that.
Yeah. Let's see. Someone said,
right now his runners in scoring position, he's hitting 216 on base, 294 slugging, 365 OPS, and 659. Yeah, you can get those numbers up a bit.
Most common response I'm seeing is about home run totals, with 30 being the most common answer. I just don't know, guys, if he can get. We got 2.5 weeks until the All-Star break. And then he does get hot in the second half of the season, but he has 11 right now.
Yeah,
unless I'm reading this wrong. 11 home runs. Curtis, what's a number you're looking for when it comes to Julio? Could be a whole slash line if you want.
Well, I mean, it kind of goes off of Jordan Shusterman, what he said earlier today, like the slugging percentage. I just want to see that go up. I want to see the doubles go up too. Like, I mean, he's got a ton of speed. And he's either like a singles hitter or a home run hitter. And I just think that he has every skill that you could ever want out of a guy who gets, 40 doubles a year. You just don't ever see that, though, from Julio.
You also saw a massive dip there from 23 to 24, 30 7 doubles in 2023, down to 17 in 2024. Right now, he has 11. Someone said, I want to see, they said, I want to see 30-30, and then texted back and said, fine, 25-25. That's where I'm at, too, 206. I want to see the ground ball rate cut by 25 to 33%. Someone said, I want 100 RBI. I mean, these are solid answers, right? I may not think that he's going to get it, but
I think he might be able to get 100 RBIs.
I just think it's more fair. He might be. I just think it's more fair to. He's complicated. I know some people get. Bump. Look, some people get Julio fatigue. Someone literally texted in earlier saying, "I hate that you're talking about Julio when we weren't even talking about him." But I find him to be very interesting. The same way I find a lot of top prospects who don't quite meet the moment but have at times to be interesting, which is you just aren't sure which version of them they're going to become yet.
Yeah, because you've seen several versions of Julio already in his short career. So he's polarizing, man, because people want more out of him, and it's okay to want more because we feel like he has those capabilities. Me personally, I'm just saying take your baby steps, man. Take your baby steps. So far in the month of June, his line is 276 to real, 1391, OPS 692. Not great, but you got to take Julio in little dosages, like a week at a time, 3 to 5 days at a time. Let's see where he is. And right now, I like where he is.
Okay. So you're going 800
8 to
OPS,
850
stretch
OPS.
850,
Yeah.
stretch goal 850. I'm going to go with a 25-25 season, which he's on pace for with stolen bases, but not with home runs. So he would need a hot second half to get there. And the most common answer was 30 home runs,
30
which
bombs.
would not be a career high, but would be a second to his rookie season. So at least we have some numbers to work with when we're talking about checking in on Julio's status, to where we actually have an idea of, brother, you're on pace for 15 home runs. It's not good enough. All right. Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776.
It's all about finding a way to get her done.
Tagging at third, Dylan Moore. He'll score easily. And the Mariners have the lead. Julio Rodriguez.
After they allowed the other team to come back, they didn't panic, found a way to get it done late.
Today, the M's send George Kirby to the mound, eyeing a 4th straight win. Mariners, Twins. First pitch today at 4:40. Wyman and Bob take you to pregame at 3:30 on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Breaking news for the people of Boomtown. With Xfinity Mobile, the Wi-Fi is booming, at home and on the go.
And an upgrade storm's on the way.
That's right. And with Xfinity Mobile Premium Unlimited, you can upgrade your phone when you want, up to 2 times a year.
Now, once customers catch wind of the guaranteed new device discount, it'll be the biggest upgrade storm in history.
Wow. Let's hear from our weatherman on the scene.
How's it looking out there, Rick?
Well, Bill, the Wi-Fi is still booming.
Now through September 30th, existing Xfinity Internet customers can get an unlimited line included for a year. Plus, ask how to get a free 5G phone. Learn more at XfinityMobile.com. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Unlimited line offer requires Xfinity 300 megabit internet or above. Taxes, fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Reduced speeds after use of monthly data included with your data option. Data thresholds vary.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
4th of July savings are here at the Home Depot, so it's time to get your grilling on.
Pick up the Traeger Pro Series 22 pellet grill and smoker, now on special buy for $389, was $549. Smoke a rack of ribs or bake an apple pie. This grill is versatile enough to do it all. This summer, no matter how you like your steaks, your barbecues are guaranteed to be well done. Celebrate 4th of July with fast free delivery on select grills right now at the Home Depot. Subject to availability.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC, powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing your schedule, responding to Jim's long emails, leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC starting at $749.99 at Dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
Do you know a woman that gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Maura Dooley here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at woiseattle.org.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here with Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy, inviting you to come work with IRG. And Shannon, what kind of staff are you looking for at IRG?
Brock, we're looking for all kinds of clinical staff, physical therapists, occupational therapists, athletic trainers, certified occupational therapy technicians, physical therapy assistants, you name it on the clinical side. We are looking for those folks. But we are really looking for folks that want to come to an organization that want to be part of our culture and change the culture and work with us to provide the best care and service we can to our patients, our team, and our community. So those clinical people out there, we're looking for you. We also provide advanced certification. We want to provide you mentorship. We want you to grow personally and professionally here at IRG.
With over 40 clinics throughout the Pacific Northwest, you've got the opportunity to work in the city you want. Just head over to irgpt.com/careers. That's irgpt.com/careers.
What's the biggest mistake you can make when selling your home? Settling for less money. That never happens with Orchard. Disappointing offers can wear you down, causing you to settle for thousands less. You don't have to settle when you sell with Orchard. Orchard reinvented the real estate industry by guaranteeing your home sale and helping you sell on the market for top dollar. First, Orchard gives you cash up front so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then once you're all settled in, your Orchard agent helps sell your home on market for top dollar. Here's what one Orchard customer said. I never could have sold without Orchard. I made way more than I expected, and it couldn't have been easier. With Orchard, you never have to settle for less. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Curious how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com. Orchard.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's What I Need to Know. Get your questions in now, 866-979-3776. What I need to know, says one listener. I tried to explain the whole Sonic skate thing to my dad, who's a passive sports fan. No luck. It's one of those things you have to be a fan to understand. What experience do you have that's like this, where you just had to be a sports fan to understand?
Man, to be a sports fan.
I like the question.
To understand. You, to appreciate how great Rick Fox was for the Lakers. No one gives Rick Fox
and you
enough
can't just
credit.
explain to someone who's a casual fan.
Like he was like the glue.
Yeah.
He was the pretty boy who came off the bench.
Yeah.
Played decent defense, hit a couple threes. But when you think of Lakers back in my day, you think of Kobe and Shaq, even probably Derek Fisher before him, but Rick Fox was good for us.
You have to be a sports fan to understand. This is a weird one coming to mind that a lot of people probably won't agree with, but most of my friends are not sports fans. So I have a lot of experience explaining sports situations to them. They'll be like, why are people talking about this? And I'll explain it. A lot of them don't get why Aaron Rodgers isn't liked.
Really?
Yeah. And it's not because they think he's handsome or whatever. It's just, I think that there's a code in sports. Sometimes it's putting attention on yourself or seemingly not being a good teammate. And if you're just explaining to someone who's not really a sports fan, yeah, he was doing an interview during the season. They're like, okay, doesn't he have 6 days away from the game? Like, so I think that
I like that
most
one.
of the people that don't like Aaron Rodgers are NFL fans.
Yeah.
Like regular people that I know of don't hate Aaron Rodgers. They might think like, oh, he's kind of pretentious, but like they just think of him as, oh, that's the Packers quarterback.
Yeah.
That's just the first answer that came to mind. Like the dislike of certain athletes is always really isolated to. Ooh, another thing hard to explain is that some athletes aren't more famous than celebrities. It's not really where the question went, but I think something that you have to be. I'm going back to more questions. I'm answering a different question now. I sure did. What I need to know. You can only attend one sport in person for the rest of your life, but you have a choice between 2. They don't let you choose.
Okay.
Cricket or polo?
I've got a good answer for this.
Cricket.
Cricket. Because their games can last days and days and days.
Yeah.
The answer is cricket.
Yeah, it's cricket.
What I need to know: email, text, phone call, or letter. Which is your most favorite and least favorite?
Back in the day, letters used to be fire, man. Letters used to be fire. You talking to some girl and you guys exchange letters and stuff.
Exchange letters.
You write your name in big cursive at the top.
No.
I had a drawer. My mom had it, a drawer full of letters that I got in high school. My mom said one time when I left for college, she opened one and read it and regretted that she opened it up and read it. Them letters was getting freaky. Why?
Oh, no. I need to know what Bump said in the letters he was sending.
I played it cool.
Oh, man. Have you ever gone back to read, like, diary entries or notes or, like, yearbooks? You know what I mean? You read the messages and you're like, what was I even saying?
Yeah.
Brenna has
Keep
an
it cool.
old, like, journal from when she was like 11 or 12 that we went through one time. We're like, what were you even trying to say?
I don't even know. You don't say anything of substance at all.
No.
What I need to know: Taco Bell or Taco Time?
I mean, Taco Time is the healthier
I need you
selection.
to answer with your heart.
But crunchy Doritos taco or soft taco at maybe 1 a.m. hits.
The answer is Taco Bell. The answer is they're the soul skaters of the taco store community. It's just the far better option.
I'm gonna feel like crap the next day, but
it'll be worth it.
in that moment.
Yeah. 866-979-3776. Earlier in Four Down Territory, you talked about Nick Emmanwori being in kind of a little bit of a not a holdout, but close to one with the Seahawks because they don't give out guaranteed contracts. It's what some early second rounders are wanting right now. This listener says, what do you think will happen if Nick Emmanwori doesn't sign his contract?
What do I think? He might hold out. And it's a bad look for a rookie, but he's just trying to make sure he is financially good to go for the next 3 or 4 years.
866-979-3776. What's better, a Game 4 sweep to win a championship or a Game 7 grind to win the championship?
Oh, the grind.
Yeah.
It's got to be the grind. Game 7. I mean, but if you look at the way OKC celebrated, it didn't mean much. So,
okay,
that
like
was Game 7.
Slightly warping this. Would you rather have, if you go back to Super Bowl 48, the Seahawks win in the way they did in that game, where it's not close, it's not entertaining for anyone outside of Seattle, or have them win the way, let's say, Kansas City and San Francisco going into overtime?
The close ones always feel better.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're dang near celebrating in the third quarter. You know.
Yes.
Like you want that intense feeling for 4
Super Bowl
quarters.
48, it was over as soon as Percy Harvin returned that kick.
It's done.
I stopped really paying attention like the way I should. You know, I was like, all right, this game's a wrap.
Right, and that was really cool because it was just dominance on display, and that's awesome. But I think when you tell yourself in a game, oh, I think they've lost it, and now I'm heartbroken, the relief that you feel when you realize they've won, the roller coaster of emotions, can be more.
It's more satisfying.
Yeah. 866-979-3776. Who wins a preseason matchup between the Seahawks and Raiders? Well, we're not going to see Darnold and Geno.
Nah. Who wins? Ricky White wins. He's going to go nuts.
Someone said late night ice cream or late night apple pie.
Late night apple pie.
I'd go ice cream.
Apple pie. I'd go ice cream and apple pie. Put the ice
Sure,
cream on top.
yeah. Pie all mode, yeah.
It's not that I don't like pie, but ice cream's so good.
The pie, man.
Is apple your favorite?
Mm-hmm.
What's 2 and 3?
I don't know.
What I need to know, why do we press the buttons on the TV and remote harder when the batteries are dead? Great question.
That is an awesome question. I don't know. It's human nature. Get aggressive.
It's kind of like how when people say that someone doesn't speak that language and then the other person talks louder, and it's like, that's not solving.
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Louder and slower, it does nothing.
No. What I need to know. Why, they said, do only older people order club sandwiches at restaurants?
I mean, that middle piece of bread is so unnecessary.
I don't think I've ever ordered one.
It rips up the roof of your mouth, too.
Is there always a middle piece of bread in a club sandwich?
Yeah.
So it's like a Big Mac.
Yeah.
I thought a club sandwich was just kind of like a BLT, basically, with some other things.
Yeah, I'm looking at a few pictures now. The extra bread, it is unnecessary, honestly.
You know what? Our answer is yes. Our answer is yes.
Mm-hmm.
866-979-3776. On the flip side, would you rather lose the way the Broncos lost in 2013 or the way the Seahawks lost in 2014? So would you rather see the end coming a mile away or have it ripped away from you?
A mile away.
Yeah. I would take the
loss. I want the coping.
Yeah.
The amount of time. I want the entire second half to cope.
Yeah, we're coping. We're just drinking now. That's all we're doing.
Oh, God. Nelson and Kent, thoughts on people who don't wear socks at the theater and then take sandals off and put their feet in the recliner?
Ugh.
I don't think I've witnessed that.
No.
I haven't witnessed that. I've witnessed bare feet on the plane, though. Like, what are you doing?
That's so rude.
The air marshal needs to get involved.
Uh-huh.
Truly, we need to call the air cops because that's wildly inappropriate. In a closed space, you got to go.
Yeah.
Wyman and Bob coming up next.
ESPN senior baseball insider Buster Olney on Brock and Solid.
What do you make of this Mariners team in general?
There are just so many teams in the middle, and they're almost to the point that it makes it hard to define them all. I think the Mariners actually have one of the better chances to break out of that pack because of their potential ceiling for their pitching once they get that in order. You know, their centerpiece star is having the greatest season that we've ever seen from a catcher in the history of baseball.
Hear the full interview on the Seattle Sports app and the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything? Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely. And you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Kick off your 4th of July weekend with a Mariners fireworks show at Seattle's summer home, T-Mobile Park. It's a Mariners patriotic party, Thursday, July 3rd, presented by T-Mobile.
Fly ball right field, sailing back, gone! Legend, Cal Raleigh!
Catch Cal and the crew take on the Royals at 7:10. Then stick around as the sky explodes with red, white, and boom! Fireworks and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
J.P. Crawford with a walk-off single. Holy smokes, what a finish.
Lock in your seats now at mariners.com/fireworks and check out the full fireworks lineup this summer, including an 80s night on July 18th and Show Tunes theme on August 1st. Plus, don't miss big-time giveaways like patriotic trucker hats on July 4th and J.P. Crawford basketball jerseys on July 5th. Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Award